Test, test. Okay, starting up the stream. Check, check.
Abby's here.
Hello, Rebecca's here.
Adrik is here.
Okay, starting up the stream. Check, check.
Robert's here. Lex is currently not.
Abby's here.
Lex is almost
Hello.
ready.
Okay, so like a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. We'll just pause until she gets here then. Alrighty. So welcome to the cargo ship part 2. So let's see. I think we have everybody in Discord. I think we're just waiting a little bit on Lux to get back to the computer. But everyone is here.
Here.
Present.
Okay. So we'll just pick up basically where we left off last time. So you are all aboard the Hammerhead, the cargo ship which is heading from Port Saphira over to the continent, and you are all basically temporarily added onto the crew as they are not able to take any passengers on this voyage. You've passed the first day and the first night, gotten to know the crew slightly, and just kind of begun to find your way
Keeping them in
here.
the captain.
Exactly. So,
What do you mean there's more of you? How many are there of you? Jeez. And if I remember correctly, one of our crewmates got to know their crewmate very well.
yes. So Nyx basically did not spend the night in the passenger quarters. She was, he was off with Ciara, the second mate, and spent the night there. Then Tabby and Naru, if I remember correctly, were basically staying at the top of the ship, and along with you guys is the kind of Modron Spike, the lookout. And then Adrik and Volac, you both get basically your own cabins to yourself, only utilizing one of the 3 bunks. So everybody is basically getting used to the rolling of the ship as it's going along through the waves. It rocks back and forth, and you hear the creak of wood, which is very present non-stop throughout the day and the night. And as you get more familiar with it, the sun rises and dawn comes, and everybody is waking up to day 2. So up in the crow's nest and the quarters, what would you all like to do?
Hey, Spike, any jobs that you think need to be done?
Everybody has a assigned job except for you. You are new crew members. You should speak with the first mate for instructions.
Got it.
I think I'm just gonna chill up here. If somebody needs me, they can come get me. It's just gonna be easier. Spike, you need help, right? Of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here.
He doesn't protest or do anything else. He's just kind of looking non-stoppingly out at the sea.
And I will join him.
Okay. Adrik and Volac, as you guys awaken, what would you like to do?
Volac is content with trying to figure out what, like, he's still processing his visions.
Mm-hmm. So do you even leave your quarters then, or you just kind of stay in there?
No, I'm still trying to, like, I'm trying to figure out what it all means, like what literally is going to happen, and what was just like, you know, Cthulhu being poetic to me. I don't know. But yeah, Volac is just chilling in the bed.
Okay. And how about Volac? Or sorry, not Volac. Adrik.
Probably gonna find his way to the mess hall, see if they are doing food yet.
Okay. Yep. You'd find that they are. You have the turtle. He's a very bulky guy, Boros. He's crafted basically the equivalent of like a biscuits and gravy, and he's slopping it out into bowls as crew members kind of come and grab their bowls. And you see that most of them are not eating in the dining hall. They're kind of all going up to the deck to get back to their duties and stuff. But yeah, you see a lot of activity in the ship this morning. There seems to be kind of an excited buzz in the air.
We'll listen and see what's happening.
What was that?
He will listen in and see what's happening.
Okay, yep. So it seems like the crew seems to be excited as the second day on the voyage, the land behind them is no longer in sight. They've kind of cleared out into the open ocean, and it's customary apparently for them to all have a set of gambling games which occur in the top deck. And so everyone's kind of excited and kind of getting all their savings that they want to start betting on and gambling, and it seems to be something that's going to be happening this afternoon.
What kind of gambling?
So you would find out from the crew that they have different dice games that they like to play, and then there's also going to be something more of a competition, which is held by the captain, and that's kind of more of like one-on-one battles essentially, and survival of the fittest.
I feel like Adrik would be interested in getting in on some of that action.
Yeah, so you go up to the top deck, and then what you would see, I'll transfer you guys over to that. I'm gonna copy all the minis over 1 second. Okay. So just put Volac over here. So what do you guys, so Adrik, as you come up to the top deck, you see that there's sailors kind of coming around, getting things together. There's, again, a lot of movement over the ship, and specifically you see that they're setting up a kind of gangplank on the side of the ship, which looks to be just kind of like a narrow, like, causeway, almost like they're using just the planks that you're used to board the ship, but they're turning them into a kind of a ramp.
I'm turning it into like a. Oh, is this a battle over the water?
That's what it looks to be.
Ooh, this should be interesting.
And Naru and Tabby, if you are paying at all any attention, you can kind of see what's going on down below you. At this point, they're being rather noisy about it, so you don't have to roll perception or anything. You just kind of see this happening.
Huh. That's new. Wonder what's going on down there.
I think they're gambling.
Now, that sounds like a reason to get out of the crow's nest. And Tabby will
I
start her way down.
tend to agree with you. I'm getting down too.
Adrik greets them as they get to the bottom.
Okay. Yep. So you can go ahead and move your minis if you want to wherever you'd like to be. Spike is going to be staying up in the crow's nest, of course. That's where he's stationed. You see kind of over in that central area, there's kind of a bunch of crates that are being set up. And once breakfast is kind of being done, served, Boros comes up and he starts to set everything up the way it is for the gambling station. It looks like there's going to be a couple rounds of dice being played.
What is going on over here?
I'm definitely going to be getting in on that dice action.
Perfect. So over here, you see that there is a tiefling who's kind of giving orders. He doesn't look to be one of the mates, maybe one of the higher ups in the crew members. If you talk to him, his name is Gaiman, and he is telling people where to set up these struts that are holding up this big, long, almost 50-foot log that's kind of shaved on the top for like a walkway, and it's being propped up on the side of the ship. Beneath it, you see the waves just kind of like rolling past as the ship is sailing fairly quickly, and you can see just this kind of turquoise blue water below.
Yeah, I'm not getting on that.
I am getting on that. Gaiman, what's going on?
Well, after the dice is all set up, we're gonna start doing the rounds. A lot of the crewmen, they like to burn some steam by fighting each other on here, and of course you wear your proper um, harness so that if you fall in the water and lose, you'll be just towed behind the ship until you're able to be retrieved. But people gamble on it all the time. It's a winner takes all.
I'll get in on that action.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now you
Are
got.
there rules for this, or does it? Are there like set weaponry, or is it kind of like what you got?
Well, the rules are no killing. We need everybody.
I figured that.
So otherwise, unless the captain says otherwise, anything goes. He who stays on the longest wins. I myself will be participating, and then Boros over there, he's in charge of the gambling. So first he runs the dice games, and then after that we do here, and he keeps track of anyone who wants to bet. So it's quite a lot of fun, and it gets us by. We try to do these usually around once a week, depending on how much people have stashed for the gambling. Sometimes it's we run out of coin.
That makes sense. Somebody always walks away as quite the victor in things like this.
Yeah, and when that happens, they typically don't come back to the table.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Well, if you'll excuse me, I need to talk to my friend here for a second. I grab Adrik and I drag him over to this side of the boat. I'm like, come here.
Whoa, something weird's happening.
Oh, there we
Was
There
it
you
a
go.
demon?
I don't know.
It was the hustle and bustle of the crew dragging crates around.
Exactly. So, Adrik, you want to participate, right?
Oh hell yeah!
Okay, I do too, but to be perfectly honest, I don't want to fight you because I've seen you fight and you've probably seen me fight, and we both know that that's probably not going to end well for either one of us. So, do you want to take the ramp and I'll bet on you?
Sure, I've got some tricks up my sleeve.
I am sure you do, and I do not question that at all. How much do you want to put down, and we'll split the earnings?
I'm gonna put 100 on myself.
Okay, sounds like a plan. I'll make sure everything is fair on this end, and if they try to pull any shit, I'll call them on it.
Appreciate that.
Cool.
Ooh, I run over. Are we betting on Adrik? Are we betting on Adrik?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
You said 100. Was
Yeah.
that gold pieces
That's
or?
what I'm. 100 gold is what Adrik is putting in.
Okay.
Yep, I'll put in 100 gold too.
100 gold seems to be the going rate, huh?
Yep.
It's for our crew here.
Hey, Boros, what's the going? What do people typically bet? I run over to Boros, and what do people typically bet for on their people?
It depends. And the turtle is shuffling like some cards off to the side. Anything. Usually, people, it depends on how skilled they are. For you guys, you seem to be new on the ship, so most likely there'll be smaller bets because they don't know what you can handle. When the captain plays, people can bet as much. Sometimes it goes up to 500 gold pieces on the captain. But it depends on who he's fighting. If I were to play, which I'm not going to, I'm over getting knocked into the water. Usually, I would only bet 25 to 50 gold at a time.
I see. I go over to Adrik and Tabby and go, do you think me betting 100 gold on you too would make you a target? I look contemplative, like I'm really worried about Adrik.
So why don't we do this? Whatever money we want to bet, I'll hang on to it. Then I'll throw in to bump the pot just a little bit, and we'll build them up to that 100 gold.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And I give you 100 of my gold as well.
Cool.
Adrik is going to do it a little bit more stealthily on passing the goal over, just so there's no prying eyes.
Yep, it's lost completely amongst the busyness of the ship. No one sees you.
I
Cool.
would rather
So
be.
People really aren't observant on this ship.
well, that's what they got. That's what they got spikes for.
I see.
They don't need to be observant. So cool. So while that's going on, I'm gonna go over to Boris and inquire about the games that they're playing.
So the first rounds of dice seem to be being thrown, and people are cheering and shouting and booing. It looks like they're
I
playing.
want to get in on the dice action.
So they're playing a game, which I don't know if any of you would recognize. Go ahead and roll just a history check, I guess.
If it's liar's dice, I got this in the bag.
18.
11.
So Naru, you probably recognize it, but you've never played it. But it's a game called Skulls. Tabby, you've played this before in the army, and or whatever military you used to belong to, and it's basically you're rolling just a handful of these bone dice, and you're betting on how many ones, which they call the skulls, are going to come up. It's a six-sided die basically, and you roll 3 of them at a time, and then if you roll 1 skull, then you get your money back plus an equal amount. If you get 2 skulls, then you get your money back plus double, and if you get 3 skulls, then you get all of your money and triple. But if no skulls are rolled, then you lose basically. So you're betting on rolling ones, and you roll 3 at a time.
Just that
Gotcha.
go to.
What is it?
There's always leftover money from this game. What does it go towards?
Yeah.
Goes,
Who loses?
it goes
Like
to
whose
the
games?
it goes to the ship.
Gotcha.
So as an example, the one that's going now, one of the sailors just shouts in frustration as he just lost 10 gold.
Yeah.
Okay, Nix is now up on deck. What I'm thinking is that Ciara has to stick with his ship cook. That's gonna be my position on the ship at my request. And so it's helping with breakfast. But now that everything's cleaned up, I'm back up on deck and kind of seeing what's going on here, seeing the games. Ciara has already told me all about the games.
Yeah, she's coming over, just following up behind you.
I'm gonna bet 10 gold and roll 3d6. Is it 3d6?
Yep. So if you want to get in, then you throw 3 of these skull dice, and you're just looking for ones. So these come up, and then everybody kind of shouts in kind of this glee and happiness for you as you just made 10 gold. What happens to Naru as she sees this, or does she just grab the coins?
I do it one more time, but with 5 gold.
Oh, come on, you can do better than that, Boro says. He slaps
I'm
10 gold down.
again.
That's the spirit.
Oh,
And you
Lost.
lost that 10 gold.
it's fine.
So,
It's fine.
so Tabby, being that she's played this game before, reaches into her pocket and pulls out a dice set and says, "I know it's a little off kilter, but do you mind if I use my own? They've been lucky, and if you'd like to check to see if they're legit or not, I'll be more than happy to let you do it."
Yeah. The turtle reaches out a clawed hand and accepts the dice, looks at them, kind of feels them in his hand, rolls them, just to kind of see how they roll. And then he nods. He's like, "Yep, go for it. How much you want
Cool.
to bet, dragon?"
I'll bet 10 gold, like my friend.
Okay, let's see you do it.
Cool. Can I roll with advantage because I have my own dice?
Not unless they're weighted or anything, no.
No, they're not. I just thought it was.
What
worth
about
it out.
sleight of hand?
No, I'm not
Ooh.
playing sleight of hand with pirates. I'm not stupid. Oh, major fail.
Oh, you're there, Tabby. Not all of us can be winners on our first try.
Boros kind of scoops the gold over. He's like, that might have just been the first luck of the draw. If you want, you can try our dice and see if you do any better.
Sure,
Adrik
I'll
put
give
the
your
golden
dice a
into
try,
the shot.
and I'll throw down another 10 gold.
You happen to be in charge of the ship's.
Hey!
Wait, hold on. So what? So Tabby, you just rolled first, right?
Yep.
So let's try to do it in order so that way I can see. So wait until we have everything. So Tabby, you roll, and then
Oh, sorry.
no, you're fine. But you roll, and you got the 1, 3, and 2. So you make you put down 10 gold.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, see, it's our dice. Use our dice. Here you go, and he gives you the 10 gold
She
back.
chuckles and puts her dice back in her pocket, and then puts the 10 gold that she had originally put down in her pocket, and just holds on to the 10 gold and waits for her roll.
Okay, so Adrik is coming up behind, and since you rolled, are you trying to kind of step in? Or? Okay, so you roll the dice, you get the 1, you get 10 gold. He forks it over, and seeing as all 3 of you have now kind of won, glances over to the captain, who's pretty much across the ship at this point, talking to one of his lieutenants, and just kind of continues on, doesn't stop, although he looks like he's worried that you guys might start winning a little too much.
Oh, they don't know what winning is.
Adrik will go working here.
I came out even though, didn't I? 1 win, 1 loss.
Yeah, he's just thinking of the wins though. And then
Adrik's gonna go one more round. So place 20 gold.
okay, yep, he shoves another stack of two sets of 10 coins over, and you get 20 gold. Down in the hold, this is all happening basically right above Volac. I would like you to make a perception check though.
Okay. Let's see. So 11. Oh, I need to get my thing out. Sorry. Man. Sorry, I didn't have this up right away.
You're fine.
I feel so bad though. Alright. So perception 13.
Okay, so you could hear the noise coming from the top of the ship, and you can definitely tell people are all having a good time. But just above that noise, coming from below your deck, you kind of hear a bit of like voices almost kind of coming up through the floorboards. It looks like a kind of a feminine voice entreating something. You can hear this voice kind of saying, "You have to let me go, please. Come back." And you kind of hear this loud whisper coming up through the floorboards.
To be perfect time to sleep on, everybody's busy with the games.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I don't really know that. But I'm gonna poke my head out and check, make sure that I can go and investigate this noise.
Yeah, so you see the entire walkway is completely clear. If you go out to the middle one, you can see that there are still a couple guards who look rather grumpy, waiting or guarding this entrance down to the cargo hold. But they seem to be listening to the amusement above rather jealously.
I'm going to convince them to go up topside to join in on the excitement. I'm there to relieve them of their guard duty.
Okay. So roll a persuasion check, and you can actually roll it with advantage because these guys that's exactly what they wanted to hear.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 2d20, right?
Yep, and then you get to add your bonus to both rolls.
Oh well.
14 plus your persuasion.
Yeah, let me check. My persuasion, I think, is pretty high. Persuasion is +7.
Nice.
Okay. So
21.
under normal circumstances, these two guards, again, it's an orc and then this Triton male guy, they both know that you're supposed to have the two guards and you're only one tiny little gnome, but you say those magic words, I'm here to switch out with you guys, you get to go up and have fun, or whatever it is that you tell them, and their eyes light up and they are off basically without saying a single word to you. They stomp up to the deck and kind of come up. They almost bump into Ciara and Nyx as they kind of run over. One heads towards the dice and the other runs over to that right side of the ship where the captain is. And then we'll pause and go over to Nyx again as you're coming up onto the deck as well. What are you doing?
I see Naru, Adrik, and Tabby at it with the guys, and I am gonna come over and join them.
Okay.
And what Nyx wants to do is kind of be the announcer for the games.
Okay.
Prestidigitation. How do you say that?
Prestidigitation. Yeah.
Fancy things.
Yeah.
So Nyx wants to kind of be the hype up for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, Boros immediately recognizes your kind of emceeing and your thundering voice, and he motions for you to jump up onto the crates behind him, and you can kind of see everything from there, and just kind of start announcing for everything. So at this point, Adrik, you've just won, and you won an additional 20 gold and everything. One of the other sailors cuts in line and grabs the dice and throws down, and there's more cheering from the crowd. Anyone else want to kind of do this? You can see over there the first mate and the captain and Ciara. They're all kind of beginning to open up the bouts as well.
Now I'll pocket the gold because I pretty much broke even, and I will venture over here to watch.
Okay.
Adrik pretty much broke more than even. Winning both times. So
I'm gonna go stand over by Nyx because I'm so happy that he is DJing essentially, that it just reminds me of old adventures we were on. So I kind of want to go stand next to him.
Nice.
So Adrik was getting on this balance action, because what better person to do the balancing act than a monk?
Exactly. That's why I was like, oh, I should start. No, let's have the monk do it.
Perfect. So let me put a couple random minis on the board.
Tabby's going to give the captain a friendly wave, just kind of as an acknowledgement while he's in the midst of conversation, just to be like, hey, I see you. Hope you had a good night last night. Hope you slept well. Just that type of thing.
And that's to the captain?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see the captain, he's
shared a drink and a cigar.
Yeah, he's again puffing on another one of his huge cigars, and he's not wearing any that fine clothing. He just kind of got his leather jerkin type of thing. Just looks like he's one of the crew members at this point. Nothing special about him except for the fact everyone still understands that he's very much the captain. But two of these pirates basically balance out onto each end of the poles, and the captain shouts basically go, and then they run at each other, and when they get about this close, the first guy shoots the other one and he falls into the water, and everybody cheers.
Yeah, Johnny goes in the water. Hope he can swim.
Yep, and with that blast, pretty much all the sailors kind of go over to the other side at this point, and Boros nudges Nyx up to the front and says, go on, keep doing your thing, you're really good at this.
Adrik will step up. Adrik says that he'd like to take the next bout and asks Tabby to place their bets for them.
So Tabby's gonna. How much was the round that just finished? How much gold was that?
That was like a 10 gold piece round.
So she's gonna do 15.
Okay. So, and then we'll pause as you guys are getting on there because this is actually going to go into initiative. I'll open a tracker so you can roll in it and everything. But we're going to cut back to Volac. The guards have gone upstairs. You are alone in this kind of central walkway area in the lower deck, guarding this door leading down to the cargo hold.
I'm going to go investigate the noise. The
Okay.
whispering.
Okay.
I'm going to check and make sure that there's no more. I'm going to be cautious while I'm doing this.
Yep. So first thing you would notice, without necessarily as soon as you try the door handle, essentially it is locked. You see this kind of padlock, ensuring that the door's locked closed. You do not have the key, and they didn't give you a key when they ran away. You don't even think they had one themselves. And around you is, again, empty hallways. If you want to roll specifically to try to hear anything or look around anywhere, you can. But you would know that without even needing to roll.
I'm going to check around to see if there's a spare key around.
Okay. You can roll an investigation check. Where are you wanting to look also?
What exactly is like in my immediate vicinity? Like you said, there was barrels, right, or something like that. There's.
Yeah, so you're kind of in a walkway. So if I don't know if it's reflecting on your screen, but you can if you see like the whole ship, basically it would be a duplicate map, but below you. Let me draw on it. This area here is basically where all the cabins are. This area here is where all of the like higher up cabins are, and then the captain's berth is like on the front there, and then like all of the supply storage rooms and everything. The food area is there. Actually, I think the captains would technically be in the back, so it might be backwards. And then you're in one of these hallways, basically right here, where steps go down, and then there is another one which goes down that way. But essentially, this front hallway in the middle is just completely open.
I doubt I'm gonna find a key anywhere, a spare key. So I'm gonna try to pick the lock.
Is that Wilson?
Huh?
Is that Wilson?
I can't hear you.
I was just thinking you could
I was
blast
gonna
the lock.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
blast
not
the lock.
stealthy.
The
I
horrible
was thinking about that though.
Do you have
Fireball.
Blast.
Fine.
Do you have any thieves tools or any thing that you can try
Oh,
to use
wait,
to pick
no.
the lock or no?
I have a. Well, let me see. Trying to figure out what I actually have.
We do have a month to get into here. Figure out how we can get the keys. See who's inside.
Okay, well maybe since I can't do anything really, I'm gonna go try to
You
find
should
my
be
friends.
You should be a good guard and actually pretend like you're doing work.
Is that his initiative?
Yeah, you can roll yours too.
Oh,
But I probably should just stay here until one of you guys decides to come down my way.
Okay, so you just want to hang tight, basically.
Yeah.
Are we all rolling
You
initiative?
can hear anything else.
Just Adrik.
No, it's the
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
plank.
combat.
It's the plank fight.
Oh yeah, I want to try to eavesdrop.
Okay. Yep.
See if I can hear more.
Yeah, especially if you actually kind of, since you're the only one here, if you were to kind of go up halfway up the stairs, you can even kind of see the crowd and everything. You probably won't be able to see the actual, like, the fight that's about to happen, but you can definitely hear it. And with Nyx's announcing, you could hear basically everything. And so the captain.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So I was actually talking about trying to see if I could hear.
Oh, for the
more.
downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Roll a perception check.
19.
Okay. Perfect. So you hear in the, just kind of behind the door down into the hold, you hear something that's kind of like groaning, something like, and it just seems to be something noisy going on down there that's abnormal. With your experiences, especially in Chult, you would recognize something that sounds quite a lot like zombies.
Not more.
An
Oh,
idea
there wasn't Tabby.
why the Kraken's gonna not like this ship too much.
Yeah.
Oh.
So as you hear that, what would Volac do?
Well, I'd be like, great, I gotta go tell my friends what's going on. Because that's kind of a big problem. So, I guess I would try to go find people. Find my peeps. Because I don't know, like, Volac doesn't know what's going on up there. So, I would just try to rush and find Nyx.
Okay. So it's basically as you're coming up out of the lower deck, you see this fight about to happen, and so Adrik, the captain, raises his arm and basically says, "Go for it!" And you spring into action first. What do you do?
Adric's gonna fly forward 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and just gonna like fling a dart at this guy.
Okay, roll an attack. AC is 13.
Alright, let's see. That should give me one here. Give me 1 second. I want to check a thing real quick. Let me just see. So, 1d.
I'm getting really pumped up with this. Can I roll a d20 for cheering?
Also, did Tabby place the bet?
Yeah, it was 15
Tabby's already
gold.
placed the bet. 15.
I want to
Ooh.
see if my hair would catch on fire when I do this.
Yeah, go ahead. If you want to roll a percentile dice or...
I see what happened.
Right.
I did a 1d2. Let's try that one more time, because that was the wrong thing. Here we go. 20. Just whips out a dart and just whips it at the guy.
Yeah, so it strikes him. Is there anything special with that dart, or is it just a normal attack?
We'll sleight of hand a stunning strike with it.
And you can do
So
that
he
from
missed-
range because of your monk ability, right?
Yes, stunning strike.
You can do stunning strike with a projectile weapon.
Let me double check.
For Adrik,
I
he's
think
got
so.
he's got a special monk class where it's basically his specialty. He can use like his golden light or something. I can't remember. Radiant energy through range. I remember he did that in the Mermaids one. I just don't remember the specific ability.
On the stunning strike, it's basically a basic monk ability. It has to be a melee weapon. Never mind. So it's just a normal dart.
Okay. So yeah,
he's
roll.
fighting his two abilities for now.
Yeah, so roll damage.
So it's 1d6 plus 4.
Okay, so he
Goddamn.
takes the dart into his side, and he staggers, but he maintains his balance on the ring, and he shoots at you with his blunderbuss.
Second attack or no?
If you're level 5, you can attack him again with your second one.
Okay. So then, I guess it's 2 darts flying at this guy. Jeez.
Yeah, so hits.
So basically just whips 2 darts at him.
Okay, yeah, and that second one, he's off balance slightly from the first one, but when the second one hits him, he falls backwards and falls down into the water.
Oh, Adrik!
Yeah.
I'm totally cheering my head off right now.
Yeah.
How much did we win in that pot?
So you doubled your money, so 15 extra gold.
Cool.
He put it. Wait, did you say 15 or 50?
1-5.
I did 1-5.
Okay, I thought
You don't scare off the betters. If they're only betting like 10 gold apiece, you don't start at 50. Tabby was in the military. She knows how to do this shit.
Yep. So Volac,
He looks over to the deck and says, "Who's next?"
Gamian actually looks pretty excited to go at you again. So he grabs, he's got a shield, and he kind of dexterously stands over on the other side, draws a scimitar in his other hand, uses his tail for balance a little bit, and opposes you. And this is when Volac would pretty much come back onto the ship.
Okay. So sword against sword. So he'll pull out his Mithril Gladius.
Ooh.
Okay, so how do I have to roll, I think, just a d20. I can't roll into it directly since he's an NPC. Okay.
Oh, it's even.
He
Unless
has a
he's got a
+2.
bonus.
Yeah, he's got a +2.
Yeah.
So for Volac, as you're coming up behind you, kind of if you want to do anything at this point, Nyx is standing on a barrel, kind of announcing. What do you do?
I mean, I'm still trying to get my bearings with the situation.
Okay.
So Adrik, is Adrik in the water right now?
No, I think
No,
he's at
Adrik
the
is
end. Yeah.
on the board.
Oh,
What
okay.
happened to the people in the water?
They have a line that is just being basically dragged from the back of the ship all the way probably over 200 feet for them to swim to and catch, and then they have to climb aboard themselves. There's no one really monitoring that at all. If you get knocked in the water, you have to swim over to the line as it kind of is coming past, and you have about 200 feet to catch it.
That sounds terrifying.
Okay, so the captain basically flicks his cigar into the water at this point, saying, "Go for it," and then immediately Gamian.
Wait, we're betting. We're betting.
Oh.
What are people betting?
Yeah. Yeah, we missed the betting portion.
Okay, yeah. How much do you want to bet?
Tabby's
How much
gonna
are other
nudge the
people
cap-
betting?
There's
Tabby's
people
gonna
going.
nudge the captain. Go for it.
Oh yeah, there's sailors around you betting 15. Since Adrik just won, somebody shouts 30 gold. I think he can do it. And then Gamian sneers at him. And then yeah, what would you were gonna say to the captain?
Oh, Tabby was gonna nudge him and be like, "Hey, your guy against mine. What do you say?"
What do you want to do? How much? And he reaches into his
I was
pocket.
She pulls out the 100 gold that Adrik gave her, and she's like, "I was thinking 100."
You're on. Let's see.
Awesome.
And that's when he
Bro,
flicks the cigar.
We throw the 100 into the pile.
Okay. Gamian springs forwards. He gets about halfway to the down this. It's basically like a mast, but it's been halved, so you can walk on a flat surface. And then he frisbees out a handful of darts at you.
Oh, how cute!
What's your armor?
AC is 17.
Okay, so 2 of them will nick you, and these are not hard at all. Well, I guess they hit for max damage. So you take. Let's see, who would be? That's a dex bonus if you were throwing a dart.
Yes.
Like they're shurikens. That's what he's throwing. So basically, you
This is gonna
take.
be fun on my end. You know why?
What is it?
You know why this is gonna be fun on my end?
Because you can
Deflect
reflect.
missile. Deflect missile.
I had a feeling you might do that. He doesn't know that though. So he's like throwing these 3 ninja stars at you because essentially just, I don't know if I went over this, but if you take a hit while on the mast, you have to make a dexterity saving throw or else you fall in. That's kind of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, he's throwing out all of these at the same time, and if with 2 hits on you, are you able to do anything about that or no? Like
Yep.
you can't reflect missile or anything, or?
We can. I'm looking up to see what I've got for it.
Okay, so tell me how much it is, and I'm gonna just do a quick calculation on the damage. I think he'd get his dex bonus, so it's a +2. So you'd take 14 damage if you don't deflect them, and then you'll have to make 2 dexterity saving throws, or you go in the water.
talking?
I was wondering. It was awfully quiet. I thought I may have lost everybody.
Yeah, it got really quiet. I wasn't sure.
Okay, so tell me what's happening, Adrik. I see you rolling. Are you muted? Oh, I think he did get
Looks like
muted.
you might have lost connection.
Oh no, Adrik was probably talking and wondering what.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
Getting a response.
I hear you now, I
He
think.
literally just catches them with a smug smirk and just throws them back at him with a 24 to hit.
Okay, so that will hit. What is the skill, the deflect missiles? Explain that just real quick.
So the flux missile basically is if he reduces the damage to 0 and he has a free hand open, he can catch it, and he can use a key point to send it back.
Okay, so you drew your short sword, so you are holding that in one hand, so you have one hand free. So what's the next thing you have to see if you can reduce the damage?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be
Yeah,
6
you have to
damage
reduce the
basically.
damage to 0.
And so what is that first roll 1d10 plus the 10, and that's how you reduced it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then the second one is the attack, and that's going to hit him back. Does it do his damage that he originally rolled, or do you get to roll the damage?
Oh no, it's my attack damage to roll.
Okay, so it's a shuriken 1d4 plus dex.
Ooh, it's considered a monk weapon for me.
There you go. I'm going to roll his dex check.
1d6.
Okay. Yeah, so he is not expecting that, but his tail kind of coils around the log, and he maintains his balance as he gets struck with his own weapon, and he is quite taken aback. And then I presume you want to spring forward and take your turn.
Oh yeah. Springs forward, sweeping in for the legs.
Okay. You do knock out his legs from under him and deal a little bit of extra damage there, but his tail coiled around is able to, basically as he's falling, he uses his tail to curl around it and swing himself back up the other side, and he comes up, and then I presume you're going to attack him again.
Yep.
Okay.
Does 13 hit?
13 doesn't hit.
And then, so one of those was bonus, and then his actual attack with the sword, just boom.
Okay. So you take a big old slice out of him. He blocks it with his arm, and you can see underneath his tunic there's this metal greave, and so it causes sparks to kind of scrape and shear the whole greave off, leaving just bloody arm behind it. And he wasn't expecting it to be made out of mithril, and it's like, ah! But he still stays on the ramp. And then on his turn, he's going to try to basically just give you a big shove off. And so that would be, if he's trying to grapple you essentially to throw you off, that'd be opposed strength checks or athletics checks?
It would be either acrobatics or athletics.
Okay, so opposed rolls. So he gets a 15.
Wow.
I'm cheering more. A
Okay.
lot. You could do it, Adrik!
Okay.
Bigger fire.
For this, do you want me to roll a percentile?
Oh, for your hair?
Ah.
I'd say if you want it to catch on fire, you absolutely can. If you want to leave it up to chance, I would roll percentile to see, and then I would say the more excited.
2d100?
No, just 1d100, because if in roll 20, it's actually a 1d100. And then.
Oh, perfect. It's only a 35. Okay.
Yeah. So. Let's see. So if you lost the grapple check, then he's going to try to basically shove you off, so you can make a dexterity saving throw to catch the board. Otherwise, you're basically in the water.
16.
Okay, so he successfully shoves you off. You catch it, and you're now hanging down. Grappling is an action, so even though he can attack with his attack action, he wouldn't have that anymore. Correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, as his other action, then he's just going to cartwheel over you to where you're hanging to the other side. That's his turn. Back in the crowd, is anyone doing anything or just kind of watching?
Just mad cheering and like a crazy person who's getting a lot of money.
Tabby's gonna nudge the captain again and pull out another 100 and say, "Wanna raise the stakes?"
He does match you. Yeah, he just pulls in, and for this time, instead of pulling out a coin, he just pulls out this gold chip-like thing. Almost, I guess, if you saw like the Mandalorian, almost something that looks like those Imperial credits, but just like a mini gold bar type thing, and he just puts it down
Nice.
on the table. That's 100 right
This is
there.
a giant IOU.
The value is 100.
Perfect. I wouldn't doubt you.
And then, yeah, I guess we'll just continue on. Adrik, you're hanging.
He's going to pull himself up.
Okay, so that's half your movement. Not that you really need it for anything.
And he's just going to give a smug grin. Oh, that's how you want to play, huh? Starting off with that Mithril Gladius, just giving a nice swing.
Okay. He tries to duck, takes it to the arm, again, his wounded one, so it's starting to bleed even more profusely, and maintains his balance.
Unarmed strike.
That's a nat 20.
And we're going to throw in Stunning Strike with that.
Okay, well, he's already at disadvantage. So that last... Do you punch him, kick him, or what do you do?
Just kind of gives him a kick
Try
down.
to kick
And
him.
so let's give him a nice kick.
Okay.
So if he's still standing, it'll be the stunning.
Yeah, so you kick him and he loses he tries to grab it with his tail but misses. The captain's jaw just kind of slacks a little bit, like, oh no. And Gamian falls down into the water, and then the crowd roars.
Gives a
87.
whole-
Naru, your hair definitely ignites. And
And he still hasn't shown his true abilities just yet.
yeah.
So there was our 100 and then the additional 100 and then the captain's 100. So it's 400 that's in the pot. How much additional
So you double it.
money was in there?
Yep, so you keep all of Captain Scragg's, and then the original one is doubled as well. So if you put in 400, then you gain 400 gold.
So okay, so we have 800 gold.
The captain...
Hold on, I need to write this shit down.
We originally had 300 gold.
We had 300 gold. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
because each three of us, Tabby, me, and Adrik all put in 100.
Yep. Don't worry about it. I'm writing it down right now. I'm keeping track.
Okay, and then we bet 15, and I think you doubled it, and then was the 15 doubled or tripled?
The initial
feel
one,
like
it's doubled.
I thought that should have been tripled because less people would have been betting on him at that point.
Yeah, it's just a double ratio. For
Okay.
For the kind of what's going on next, the captain looks over at Tabby, just having lost 200 of his personal, and he slowly lights another cigar, and then he says, "What about you, Dragonborn? I'll go in there with you if you want. I'll win my gold back."
You know what? If you really want to go toe to toe, I'm game, but I'm not going toe to toe with him, and I think you just saw the reason why.
I'll get you on personally myself. I'll put 1,000 gold down if you're up for it.
I don't have 1,000 gold, but I got 800.
Winner takes all.
So I'm assuming
look
Tabby's
over at
going up
Adrik.
against the captain here?
Yeah,
Or is he going up?
Good look.
the captain is
Adrik,
challenging
over at
Tabby.
Adrik, are you betting your money on Tabby? We gotta take her for Tabby! Woo! Go Tabby!
Dragonborn versus Shockborn. We must have been battle of the ages. Over the sea, over the Kraken's lair. You'll never see this again.
Brilliant.
Oh, shit.
Are you giving a bardic inspiration to Tabby?
Yes, I am.
Woo!
We
So,
got a 1d6.
so the captain goes over, kind of takes off his vest, and you see this kind of shoulder holster underneath, which he's still wearing, but otherwise he's still
have
wearing it.
700 gold? Sorry, 900 gold. 150.
So how short are we?
Well, he agreed just to do the 800 straight.
Yeah. Are you gonna
So
before he
we-
goes off?
we
Are you gonna try to stop him? And so, how much gold are you wanting to gamble?
Well, guys, from all of our collections, we have 800.
Adrik can put in another 100.
I'll put in 100 too.
Okay.
That was Volac, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of go over. So yeah, he's about to go in, and when you stop him and tell him you're good for the full 1,000, he grins, and then he reaches inside his vest, which he just took off, and pulls out 20 platinum pieces. I think that would be 20 platinum, and drops that in. So it's this mixture of gold and these golden chips, which are worth 100 gold, and then he's got the platinum, and there's a ruby in there, just a kind of signet ring-sized ruby, which is valued at 250. And he just has this mismatched jumble of valuables that he puts in, and then he goes over, he has taken his vest off, revealing just a shoulder holster, which he's got this pistol in, and that's pretty much all he's wearing besides his trousers. And he goes over onto the back end. Before anything begins, is anyone else doing anything?
Screaming my head off. Well, screaming my hair on fire off.
The stuff downstairs.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell Nyx about the stuff downstairs secretly.
Okay, so Nyx, as this is about to happen, and you hear Volac telling you about the noises he's hearing, what do you do?
There's an charger hole. What else? Ooh. Nyx has got a silent for a little bit. But knows it would be weird if an answer something like silent. Mm-hmm. So he quickly whispers back to Volac that you'll have to come after the games. You need to get into the cargo.
Yes. I think it's the perfect time to try to get a key, but my pickpocketing skills are not very good.
Hey, Tabby, don't forget, the stars are a wonderful place, and think peaceful thoughts about resting up in the crow's nest. You got inspiration, baby, you can do it! Woo!
And how much was that bardic inspiration? I didn't catch it.
You have
Is it a
regular
1D,
from last
is it a 1d6
night.
or a 1d8?
Ooh.
It's a D6. You can
It's a d6.
put it on ability, attack roll, or saving throw.
Okay, perfect.
Adrik
So,
gets a
Tabby?
I wasn't
bonus
sure what your
for-
level is, so.
Tabby,
1d6,
we
got
still have inspiration from chilling out in the crow's nest last
Oh
game.
wait, my bad. Since I'm level 5, it's a D8. Sorry.
So Adrik
It's
gets
a
some
D8?
streamy screen. Hey
It's a
Tabby,
D8. Sorry.
time for things to heat up, don't you think?
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to hear what she's saying, and you guys keep interrupting. It's a D8,
Sorry.
right?
It's a D8, yes.
It's a D8.
Thank you. Okay, I've changed
Yeah,
my notes like
so-
4 times.
Adrik kind of gives you that cheer of time to heat things up, as in
Also-
fire breath. Because
Also,
if you have to make a dex save, well, there's not much room to dodge.
we still have inspiration from chilling out in the crow's nest.
Yes, I have that marked on my
Perfect.
thing.
Okay. So if you want to roll initiative, Tabby.
You betcha. I don't know who has that noise. Oh goodness, that was really loud.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
I don't know what that was. That was really, really loud.
Oh, it might have been an echo. I don't know, Robert, if you and Lex are in the same room, maybe it's an echo from the double microphone.
Oh
Yeah, it
no,
probably was.
Tabby.
Oh no!
No, she rolls with advantage. That didn't
Oh
help at all.
no, Tabby.
Oh, goodness. Well, if you're with
Oh my
advantage, then...
gosh.
How does that even work? Do you have a negative initiative?
I have a 0.
Oh, so you rolled a 2 and a 1.
Yep.
Well,
Dang. It's a 2 though.
so
Proud of my 2.
Lobby.
okay. Captain Scrag is going to go first. He is going to just walk towards you. Let's see, to about here, so he's within 15 feet. And as he's doing so, he draws his pistol and shoots at you while walking. That is going to be a 15 to hit.
That matches my armor class.
Okay, so if it's a match, I always forget that hits.
Match goes to the hitter. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to hit you. So you take basically 10 damage and then roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. We'll see if the advantage will work this time. 17.
Yep,
Stay on.
that's safe. So you take the hit, but your draconian scales basically are able to shrug off any of the impact from it, and you stay standing. And then you are going to need to make another dexterity saving throw as he opens his jaws, and then the cigar just drops out from it. And then he breathes a huge breath, and a water burst shoots out in a line at you.
Oh, damn.
17.
Okay, so you take 4 points of damage from this geyser of water as it just bursts out from his open maw. You brace yourself. You will need to roll a dexterity saving throw because he did take damage again.
11.
That's enough. So that is his turn.
I
Cool.
scream by him.
So, Tabby's
him.
going to go into a rage. So you just see red starts to pulsate through her scales, and all the distinctive lines of where her scales lay on her body start to be outlined in this red, and her eyes go from that really soft, like gentle brown to a very like vibrant fire hydrant red, and she just looks pissed. And she lets out a huge roar, and she's going to take a swing at him with she's going to make it a reckless attack with the Great Weapons Master feat.
Okay.
While raging. So that's a 12 to hit.
Yep, that will hit him. He is not wearing any armor.
Oh, damn.
Awesome. So it's 18 points of damage. Sorry, that's 28 points of damage.
So he takes the blow.
So it's just boom.
Oh, Adrian?
Yeah.
Good question. Would I know if Ciara has carrying keys on her since we got dressed together this morning?
Yeah, roll a perception check with advantage.
Oh, damn. Come on. I would know this.
Did you roll with advantage?
No. So I just roll another one?
Yep, just roll another
Yes.
one, and then take the whichever's higher.
There you go.
So since she's the second mate, right? Would she be carrying keys, like a reed keys?
Nope, she definitely had a key set, but one of them was a key set that was... So she has her normal key set, but she did have a secondary one, which you think would be for those padlocks for sure.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask Volac if he could take over as our announcer.
Okay, so
So I can go, I don't know, just take over so it's not suspicious. I need to go to the pocket or so I can get the keys. And then if it's up to you, so you can go down and call off the cargo hold, or what are we gonna do? Can you go get the key right now? Oh, well, never mind then. I will go down and try to pickpocket Ciara.
okay. So as you're doing this, back to the battle that's happening here. So you did damage to him. I had to check to see how legendary resistances work, and it's a saving throw. It's a dex saving throw that he failed, but he's going to use a legendary resistance to succeed on it.
He failed with the staying on board with an 11.
Yeah, because you did so much damage to him.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so he's going to legendary resistance, stay his footing on the beam. So that is one attack. I think you get multiples, right?
I get 2 attacks per turn.
And you moved up
and
to him,
then-
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I would have closed the distance. He's going to need to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
And what's happening?
You see her chest expand a little
Oh, okay,
bit.
got
and
it.
Her throat
Oh, basically,
starts to
two can
shake
play that
and
game.
quiver. And her throat starts to shake and quiver, and she opens her mouth and just fires straight at him.
Okay, so he recoils and brings his fins up, or his fin hands, to try to block some of the flames, but he takes the half damage, and so he will still need to make a dexterity saving throw to maintain his footing. And with this one, he begins to slip. He catches himself, and let's see, there's no limit on how many times he can use a legendary resistance, like once per reaction or anything, right?
I'm pretty sure it's only once.
Is it once per turn?
I'm not sure.
Reaction, then he only gets
I
one
think
reaction.
it's once per turn.
No, he's got 3
I think it's
legendary
once per turn.
he's got 3 legendary resistances, but I think it is once per turn. So that would do it, and you basically dislodge him, and he howls like a very guttural roar as he plummets down and he hits the waves below. And there's some cheering, but for the most part, the crew is stunned.
As soon as he hits the water, Tabby's going to jump off and go to the rope that they're supposed to use to hoist themselves. Grab the rope, wrap it around her arm because she's still raging, and she's going to help pull the captain in as soon as he grabs onto the rope.
Yeah. So an interesting thing is he doesn't necessarily go for the rope right away. He disappears beneath the waves, and really, for him, he probably wouldn't surface for a couple minutes. Like he's basically just gonna disappear until he's done pouting.
She doesn't move from that spot unless he shows back up on the ship. She is right there to be, a gracious winner and help him get back on board.
So the second in command, the first and third lieutenants are there. Ciara is about to go over, but Tabby, Nyx, Ciara's going to be passing you. So unless you want to talk to her, this would be the perfect opportunity to try to make a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I've got sleight of hand, so.
Yeah,
Oh my god!
Oh dear.
That's a critical failure, isn't it?
Yeah. So she.
You're a gnome?
Wait, what was it?
No, she's a Tabaxi. He's a Tabaxi.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, Volac is a gnome. So Ciara kind of bumps into you, and you try to make a grab for her keys, and she jerks herself away and meets eye contact with you, and she's trying to read what you're doing. How's your reaction?
I'll play it off like I was just trying to be.
Trying to get some more
Affectionate.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna play it off as.
Okay.
Yeah, missed you.
Roll a deception
What
check.
me, baby?
Oh no!
Yes!
Nice.
Her gaze looks down at and a kind of flirtatious smile crosses her face, and then she's brushes past us I gotta go to the captain, and then she kind of runs over to where the other lieutenants are, and they're looking down and just kind of waiting for him to reappear.
We need to get those keys.
Hey Boros, what do you think? Up for our match?
I told you I don't play no more on those things. I've been knocked off one too many times.
Going to try a persuasion on him?
what are you doing? What are you saying that's going to try to persuade him? He doesn't look to be necessarily wanting to do it. So what does Adrik do to try?
All right, so we'll look over to the other three then. What about you guys? You up for a match?
The sailors?
Yeah.
They seem a little bit concerned about the captain. And so, like, basically the mood on the deck has completely changed from, like, partying to, oh, crap.
Oh, shit.
Like, our leader just, like, what? This has never happened, or if it ever has, it's not been for so long, and not to, like, new people on the ship. Like, if one of the first or second mates had done it, maybe that would have been cool, but this is a new person. Like, oh, crap, what's going to happen? And so everybody's, like, all eyes are down. They're just waiting for the captain to come back up. Okay. So nothing's happening. Everything's still. Is anyone going to do anything, or just kind of keep waiting?
I think we need to get those keys. So
Do you want? As enough time's passing, like she's just looking over the side, basically standing next to Tabby. Do you want to try again?
I missed what was being said.
So CR is leaning over the railing, looking down, trying to see where the captain is. Does Nyx or anyone else want to try again to try to grab her keys? They're not hidden, but they are on her hip.
do you want to give it another go? Well, if that happens, I'll dive in to save you. Little gnome.
You know, Adrik does have some thieves' tools.
Maybe we should like reconvene all together as a group, and then because I do have a +6 sleight of hand, but that was a pretty bad fail, and I'm pretty worried about rolling low again.
Okay, if you don't feel like doing it, I whispered in Adrik what's going on. I let him know that I'm not very good at picking pockets. But we need those keys because there's some undead stuff going on downstairs. And it's currently unguarded, so we could go investigate it now while everybody's up here. We just need those keys.
I want to go up to the crow's nest and see. And hey, Spike, do you see the captain underwater?
Indeed, the captain is down there, and he points down. And from this elevation, you can see that swimming just probably about 10 feet underneath the surface, the captain is just kind of swimming side by the ship.
Well, I don't think he's getting on anytime soon. I just kind of enjoy.
Okay. Yeah, so this is probably like 3 minutes have passed now at this point, and everybody's still like totally silent, and the captain's still like totally not coming back up. The mood is starting to kind of like soften, like maybe he's just, I don't know, maybe he's going for a swim, and then some of the sailors begin to kind of drift away, like they don't want to necessarily be here after all when he does come back up.
Can I see? Can Tabby see me from over here? I kind of wave over to Tabby. Does Tabby see me at all?
Yeah, Tabby, are you still focused or no?
No, I'd probably be glancing around because if he hasn't grabbed onto the rope and hasn't shown up by now, he might jump on board somewhere else, and I just want to make sure
Yeah.
we're cool.
Yeah.
You're like, please don't throw me overboard because I kicked you off, because that's the game.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want, you can see Naru, or if you want to roll for it, or Naru, are you shouting at her or doing anything that would draw attention, or?
Go, hey, Tabs! Not super loudly, but kind of loudly to where I think it would project, but I roll for that.
Considering how high she's up, let me roll a perception.
Did I roll my
yeah,
shout.
I would have heard you.
I think, yeah.
My first roll was a 19.
I kind of point over towards the front where I see the captain swimming.
Okay, I'll venture. Which side was he on again?
Oh, he's
Top
on
right.
the top right. Up by the ballista.
Top right. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I see. I'm gonna venture up that way, and just kind of chill here against the side, being real casual.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Ciara is actually going to be sticking nearby you because she wants to be where the captain comes up as well. And then Volac, Adrik, and Nyx. Tell me what you guys are doing. What was the plan?
I want to know what Ed thinks about the new update because
So were any of the sailors wanting to do the game still, or did they just kind of like scatter?
Yeah, the mood and there's pretty much the game at this point is going to be over. Like, unless the captain comes back and says things are still happening, but otherwise it's pretty much everyone's done.
Okay. It was basically just so that was more of to see.
Yeah,
How-
tell me what you're doing before you
Right,
roll, if you could.
Sorry.
That would help.
This is to see like how quietly Adrik was going to try slipping away, or if he was just going to like be more of, well, if the game is postponed for the time, I guess I'll just head below.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like that kind of attitude, even if he doesn't say.
Yeah,
So he just kinda, like,
there
goes
are
forward.
sailors that have already done that. There's some that have kind of already gone down, just to, like, get out of dodge in case the captain's super pissed. But
Is Volac going with?
I thought we were gonna try to get the key, but
I've got some luck picks.
okay. Yeah, I'll go with you.
do you want to go down? Okay. So
Yeah.
this is pretty much coming on about 5 minutes, and Captain kind of stops swimming so fast, so he's no longer on pace with the ship, and waits until he gets to about the back. Unless Tabby, did you move the rope too, or no?
Because of the fact that they had already originally had it set up there, I wouldn't have moved it.
Okay.
That's just kind of rude.
Yep. So he basically just stops swimming as fast until the ship kind of outpaces him, and then as soon as he gets within reach of the rope, he just grabs it and expertly begins to climb up.
If I can see his travel, I would trace him to the rope and then grab onto it and start pulling it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not trying to be hard to see, but he as soon as he breaks the water, he begins to scale the ship, and Gaiman he steps back and lets you be the one to kind of grab the rope if you want to help him up again, just because, again, third mate doesn't really even want to be here, but out of like responsibility he is. And then you can see Captain Scragg, the look on his face is fairly neutral, but as soon as he jumps aboard back onto the ship, he looks Tabby up and down, and then a big toothy grin happens, and again, "Well done, my Dragonborn friend!" And he holds out a hand.
Oh, she immediately takes it. She was like in the process of sticking out her hand as
Yeah.
soon as he started talking.
So he clasps it and then just kind of like gives it a pretty strong shake, and then lets go, and he says, "We'll have to do that again one day, not today." And then his tone changes, and he looks at the crew, and everyone just like doesn't know what to say. And then he says, "Well, 1,000 gold fair square. Pay him out, and you'll be dining with me tonight. I want to have lunch with or dinner with you."
I am totally down. That sounds like a blast. Thank you so much. That was fun. You are a formidable foe. I can't English today.
He one last thing he says to Tabby before he kind of turns and goes to regather his things. He says, "You must be the captain of those 5 of the stowaways, right?"
She just kind of looks away. She's like, I don't want to talk about my past.
Bring a crew. I'll have dinner with the lot of you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
And then he looks over at all the rest of the ship's crew, and he just barks, "Now get back to work!" and then everybody goes like scurrying around to wherever they need to go, and then the captain rather angrily goes back to his cabin. Ciara looks around and says, "Well, that went well."
Hey, can't argue. He's a good fighter.
Going to get some.
So down below, Volac and Adrik. There are people around, but not in the immediate walkways. What do you do?
Is there somebody at the guarding the door currently, or
Nope, it's a vacant post.
Yeah, let's
So-
go back over there.
we're gonna take up guard position to act as if we've been there, like as if
Like you've been there the whole time?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
And just kind of like comes to join the shift after kicking some ass above top.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So you've got basically in game a couple rounds, maybe about like 20 seconds, so call it 3 rounds before the crew is starting to be dispersed. So you've got a handful of seconds. What do you want to do at the door?
Unlock that lock.
All right, so I'm gonna attempt that sleight of hand with these tools.
Okay, so that's 9. So you kneel down so you can get underneath the padlock and take a look at it. You put in your little picks. You feel something, but it doesn't catch. 6 seconds go by.
Let me try it.
Okay.
All right, that's just a 13.
Yeah, so
I think.
Volac bumps Adrik out of the way. He's like, "I'm short, I can do it." And then he tries to like pick the locks. You almost get it, and it's almost like putting a needle on top of a needle. You feel it kind of connect, but then slip off. 6 seconds pass.
All right, we're gonna try this one more time. Just bumps him out of the way.
Whoa.
Nope. Let the master do this. Click.
So Adrik kind of takes it back. He's like, "I got this." With one firm push, you feel it connect, and you depress the lock, and there's and the hook comes out, and you've unlocked the padlock.
Let's get on the other side quickly.
Okay, you both
close the
slip
door.
behind, the door closes, and just in time for a bunch of the crew to come running downstairs to head back to work to their stations. So
We're gonna be in such trouble.
let's
Yeah,
see.
probably.
So I don't
Probably
have.
should have let.
I just got on the
Tabby
good
or
side with the captain, guys. God.
Probably should let Tabby or Nix or someone know that. Hey, you should
Nix
cover
knows.
the shift.
I think Nick's new. Yeah.
Okay, so then she's going to be our cover, saying, "Hey, I'm here to cover the shift."
So I don't have a great depiction of what the hold is going to look like, but basically you descend down into a kind of a dark room. The picture is more depicting kind of the feel of it. It's kind of a lot of rusted metals and stuff, boxes kind of all around. In the center of the room, you see this enormous cargo crate, and you would probably recognize this as the one that the Triceratops had in the wagon that had brought in. And it's just sitting there in the middle of the hold with this canvas tarp stretched out over it. And then in the boxes all around, you see cages and cages full of undead. There's zombies shambling, bumping into each other, reaching through the bars, just kind of growling and going.
These guys are hungry.
Yep, they are very locked up, but very active. Definitely there's probably about 100 zombies, and some of them are skeletons that are animated, but there's a whole bunch of them all in these cages scattered around. And these are not the ones that are under the tarp. The tarp is just whatever's behind it. But all the cages, which you can see, are filled to the brim with the Walking Dead.
Fun. I heard whispering earlier, and it sounded like maybe somebody that was being held in captivity. So I want to try to find the source of that whispering.
Okay. So roll a stealth. Actually, can you both roll me a stealth check, just because I want to see how bothersome you're
no.
being to the zombies. But then for
So for me, that is just an 8.
okay, and then go ahead, and if you're going to like investigate or just do a kind of quick look around.
I want to investigate.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Investigate that's just what it is, 18.
Okay, and I don't again have an actual map of this ship, so I'll see if I can just draw one in. That's the wrong color. That's going to be too hard to see. That's 1 second.
Nix is telling Tabby what's happening, what Volac found. Adrik and Volac went racing down to go break open the cargo hold, and that we need to find Naru. And,
I think you're muted.
Me?
No, she's not muted. I could hear her.
Okay, I'm going to make your minis really small. You're not, the cargo hold is fairly big, but just to represent you. On the map, you have cages basically all along this wall, all kind of like that. In the back, there's a big cage full of, again, more zombies right there. On this side, there's a cage full of skeletons. And then you're coming down there the center, and everything else is cargo, just like crates and barrels and stuff. On that brown box in the middle is this canvassed big thing. The zombies begin to react on the left towards Volac, and you see the horde of them just kind of reaching out through the crates, and they start to be more boisterous and more active.
They wouldn't. I try to convince them that it's not. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
So
I
with
wanna,
you,
I want to look at. I want to look at the. You said that's a tarped
yes.
thing. I want to investigate that.
Okay, so yeah, with an 18, as you can easily find that it's kind of snaps that you can undo to try to open up a portion of the tarp. Just behind it, you see additional boxing. It's basically a metal cage, but it's closed, like it's its own, almost like if you had a bank vault, but the vault was outside of the bank. Like you can go into it, but from inside of it, there's additional cages. There's a door right here, and it is locked, but you can see through the bars that there's essentially a hallway leading in, and there's additional cages here which have iron doors and a little peephole area where you can like peek through, big enough to see inside, but those have shutters and they're all closed.
Can't actually see what's in those parts. Only that this is like a little mini jail cell.
Yep. With an 18, I will also say you are observant enough to see in the first one on the right, there is a big red puddle coming out from within it, seeping out into the walkway area.
Red puddle, you say? I wonder
Yeah.
what red puddle
Nothing.
is. Probably nothing. Probably
Oh,
just syrup or molasses or something, you know. I don't know. Well, should we try to pick this lock too, or I'm gonna call out a little bit because I mean, the horde already knows I'm here, so I'm gonna call out a little, like just like whisper out to see if there's anybody that needs help in here.
Adrik will remain on guard and hidden.
Okay. Okay, what do you say, Volac?
Hey, is there anybody in here that needs a little help?
You hear
It's a little hostile in here.
kind of a scurrying, like clattering, like feet standing up on the metal, and then you hear a voice. Yes, who's there? Let me out. You must let me out.
Well, who am I talking to? Who is this?
I am Esmeralda. Let me out! You must let me out!
Okay, calm down.
You hear a grunt from further back, and you say, "Who's there? Hey, let me out too! Let me out!"
I got a bad feeling
Now-
about this.
Nobody's getting out until we know some more information about you guys.
Oh, I've done nothing wrong. I've been a prisoner here for it feels like years. You have to let us out. The other girl, the female voice that's just coming from the left cage, is like, "You don't understand. We can't be taken."
Who are you guys?
I am the princess. I belong back in Chult. You must let us out. They're going to take us.
I'm gonna insight that. No idea.
Yeah, I mean, Chult,
I'm also going to insight that. Also, no idea.
Yeah, you both know that you were just in Port Zephyr, and that's right across the next island over is the island of Chult, so geographically it makes sense. So we're going to pause for you guys, and we're going to go back to the top of the deck. So Naru, Tabby, and Nyx, what are you all up to? The deck's kind of been dispersed. The sailors are climbing back up into the rigging to adjust the sails. You see the people swabbing the deck now, washing it, they're dismantling the beam, so the platform's being taken down.
I just told Tabby and Naru what's going downstairs. I think we should go tell them pretend to be guards or something. I'm not sure. We don't want anyone to know they're sleeping around down there.
Tabby's gonna look down at Nyx and then put her hand against her face, then run it along her face so it pulls down, just like that kind of frustration look, and just go, "I just got on good terms with the captain, and you guys are breaking into shit? Are you kidding me?"
Zombies, my dear. Zombies.
You're breaking into shit. We had one rule while we were here, and that was don't get into the cargo hold. Oh my god, you guys are gonna.
I'm not sure whether
I'm gonna get.
am I with you guys at this point or no? Because I look like I'm up.
Do you want to stay up there, or do you want to come back down? It's up to you.
Wait, did Nyx get me?
Yeah, I tried to come find Naru's because everybody needs to know what's going on.
Well, I think Tabby was the only one who knew where I was.
Yeah. So what Tabby's gonna do is she's gonna drag Nyx over to the over to where the crow's nest is and wave for Naru to come down, and then she's gonna look at Nyx and say, "Okay, seeing as I am probably not supposed to know about this, I'm gonna not know about this, and I think it would be a good idea if me, who's on good terms with the captain, and you, who's on good terms with the second mate, make sure that those two people don't find out that we're breaking into things we're not supposed to."
At this
I
point,
don't know why you guys thought this was a good
at this
idea.
point, I'm just gonna go back up top.
No, because you need to know what's going on. That's why she flagged you down.
Okay. I'm like, I see Tabby saying that we're gonna pretend like we don't know, and I'm like, okay, I'm not supposed to know. And then I'm about to head.
Then you go back up.
Tabby, I think you just kind of grab me and keep me down, and I'm like,
Yeah, she's
like really not sure what's going on.
and like detach you from the
Rope.
rope and bring you back down. She's like, "Nope, not done yet." She's like, so Tabby puts her hands to her temples and she's like, "Okay, well, the first thing that I need to do is I need to figure out if there's a healer on board because I got hurt. So I'm gonna go talk to Boris. Kitchen, food, maybe healing. Figure something out there." Oh my god, I can't believe that you guys are doing this. Okay, is there anything you would like me to do? Because breaking into there doesn't sound like a good idea. So I would prefer not to be doing that at this point. Where do you want me?
So you do whatever's best on your conscience. It's just
Okay,
our friends are in a bit of a situation.
at this point, Naru kind of has figured out what's kind of going on, and what I assume, knowing Volac, is a very curious little person. I'm like, I look at Nyx and I go, if there's supposed to be guards there, are they gonna be able to get out?
As far as I heard, that it was unguarded.
Well, I don't know how long that's gonna last for.
So we head down, or would it be too suspicious?
As much as I don't think I should know anything, if my friends are in a bit of a bind, I should probably help them. Seriously, Volac? Seriously? I too just palm drag. Then I do it again with the other hand.
Okay. So, what's the plan for you top deckers? Are you gonna try to go down, stand guard, or go find the captain, or just kind of hang out and wait, or what are you all gonna be doing?
Mix wants to go down to the hold and pretend to be a guard.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we should do this.
Yeah. So if you
Abby was gonna go to a healer.
Yeah, so I was gonna go to Boris and ask him if there was anybody who on board who was a healer, because the captain didn't. She's gonna say he did a number on her, but that's not actually true because she was raging. So all that attack should have been half of it.
Yep. So
so yeah, she's gonna ask about getting some help.
Yeah, so he kind of looks over and says, "Yeah, it doesn't look like it's too bad. Here, go to the infirmary. You can get one of the salves put on it. I don't think you're going to need a potion, but you should be fine. Just give it a day's rest." And then he would direct you to go down to the lower hold where you can meet the medic.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is when I go to the medic, I'm gonna ask for the bandages or whatever, and then I'm gonna go to the captain's quarters.
Okay. So when you go down there, it's the Triton guy who you've seen kind of around, and he gets this kind of seaweed, kind of a bandage wrap, but it's made out of seaweed, and he gets this white ointment, and he just kind of smears it on the inside and puts it onto your scales where it's been hurt, and you basically have a healing salve, which will kick in within like the next couple minutes, and then you'll get that'd be 7 points of healing, which I think brings you back almost to full, or not quite.
Yeah. So instead of him putting it on her, as soon as it's like all bandaged up, she's gonna take it from him and go to the captain's quarters.
Okay. So you basically take it unused.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go up to Captain Scragg's quarters. Nyx and Naru, what are you both doing? Are you gonna go stand guard?
2-man guard, right, Nyx?
Yes, that's what Volac told me.
Okay.
Are you down for this? We could, you may very well party to me getting thrown over very soon, if Volac's vision is to be believed. I wouldn't want you to be thrown over either.
Maybe, I know. You get caught, and that's why the captain throws you over.
Yeah, our backup plan is you catch me fooling around and you take me to the captain. Once things are really fishy, pretend to catch me and I'll take the fall.
Oh no.
Okay, I go along, and I don't really like this idea. I don't like my friends taking a fall for me.
So
I because our other friends are needing help.
So did I hear that you're both going to be standing guard then together? So that's a yes?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you go down. Luckily, it doesn't look like anybody's noticed the guards are missing, and it doesn't look like any shift changes have happened. The door is still there, unmanned. You'd probably both just notice with your passive perceptions that the lock is not there. Now, Volac and Adrik, did you take the lock with you, or did you just kind of leave it there, but unlocked, or what did you do?
Does Volac have minor illusion? Hello? Can you hear me all right?
I think Volac's muted.
Sorry. I do not.
Well, there goes that plan.
Well, they're still Can I try to persuade them to talk to me, like to tell me who they are?
Yeah, absolutely. Just would you have taken the lock though from the door, or did you just leave it kind of hanging on it?
I think I would have probably put the lock back on, but just to keep appearances, but leaving it hanging, not like
Okay.
locked.
So that's the way that both Nyx and Naru would find it, is just kind of this padlock looped through the correct place, but it's not quite clicked back in. So you can you just remove it, or if you had to, you could lock it again. But it's still there for you guys if you wanted to do anything.
We just kind of stand in front of it.
Yeah. Okay. So you assume your guard positions. So Volac and Adrik down in the hold, you are hearing the disturbed animated corpses just kind of groaning and reaching for you, clearly with a ravenous appetite. But inside you're hearing these so far just two voices. What do you do?
Convince them to tell us who they really are and why they're locked up.
Okay, go ahead and roll a persuasion.
+7, that's 18.
Okay, so they both start to talk at the same time, but the guy in the back kind of shuts up as soon as he realizes the other person's talking, and then in her kind of her soft voice, she's kind of like whispering or hissing almost through to try to be quiet but clear, and she says, "I am the princess of one of the Cholt tribes. I have been stolen from my kingdom. I need to go back. They're going to experiment on us."
What do you mean by experiment?
Yeah.
We've been captured by slavers. And then in the back you hear the guy say, she's telling the truth. The slavers, they've told us they're selling us to a wizard, and he's going to use us in some spell or something.
I'm gonna insight that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you have a bonus, Volac?
+2.
Yep. So
16.
It sounds to the both of you like these two voices are desperate. They might not be forthcoming with everything, but they don't sound like they're lying. They sound like you're something desperate. Like they feel like you're their only hope, essentially.
Why are you why would you be experimented on? Why would they pick you to be experimented on?
They want our powers.
I'm going to do a history on the tribe that they keep mentioning.
Okay.
Nice.
So with Cholt, what you know about that region is it's largely occupied. The island is basically a humongous jungle, the bulk of which is infested with undead and dinosaurs and all kinds of uninhabitable terrains and stuff. There's lots of Aarakocra that live there, so there's plenty of like the Birdmen tribes. There's the port city of Nyanzari, which is kind of the hub of the safe zone. They have a big wall that kind of separates the coastline from the rest of the jungle, and it's ruled there by a bunch of merchant guilds. There's plenty of races of all kinds there. in terms of within the jungles, you know that there's lots of kobolds, there's dragons, there's tons of undead of every kind. There's been essentially like a never-ending curse that's happened, and then the zombie plagues have spread, tainting pretty much most of the jungle. So it could be any of those types of tribes. It could be something that's more native beyond the wall, so to speak, into the uncharted areas. But yeah, it could be, without getting more information, it could be any of those types of things.
Well, we gotta let them know that we can't just let them out right now. It's just not like we let them out, then what happens? Then we all get locked in here. So we'll let them know that we'll try to help once we pull into port somewhere. Because we're getting dropped off, right? That's the plan, is that we're getting dropped off before they reach their final destination.
That's what you understand. The ship is going over to the continent, so that's about a 30-day trip.
Yeah, so we can't really let them out yet.
No, you must let us out. Time is of the essence. We must get back to our people.
Yeah, but how would you get back? We're in the middle of the sea right now.
And then with a very almost infuriated hiss, she says, "We will kill everyone that we need to."
Okay.
Wait, what did you say? Did you just say that they're gonna kill everyone that they need to?
Yeah, that sounds pretty extreme.
You must let us out.
Yeah, but I want you to just kill everybody. There's some innocent people here.
The innocents will let us go. They will understand. You understand. And
What do you think?
From the back, you hear the guy voice say, "I don't want to be harvested. You gotta let us out."
We reconvene with our party.
Give us a chance to discuss things with our party. We will be back for you as soon as we can.
No, no! And then there's like a rattling as she's like trying to shake the cage she's in. And then there's a third voice as soon as she does that. Not a voice, but noises. And you hear from one of the other cages beyond. And then there's a kind of a heavy footstep, like stomping. And then there's this big bang on metal. And then you hear the female voice stop, like what she's doing. And then there's this second bang on the door.
Well, that's our cue to.
Yeah, Volac, time to go.
Yep.
And he like whispers this. So gonna head up these stairs and try to perception to see if there's anybody outside.
Okay. Volac, you can also roll a perception. Okay.
With blah 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 blah.
So you see these.
+2.
Yeah, you see as you're going up past the cages, all the zombies are kind of reaching out, trying to grab you, but there's easily enough distance to not even get close to them. And as you get to the door, you kind of crack it open. You can see the form of Nyx and Naru just behind it.
Awesome.
It's like,
We discreetly get out of the door.
okay.
And to our friends.
So the scene is going to change before we get to your exit. Tabby, you get to the captain's front of his door. It is closed.
I bang on the door.
Okay. There's not really an answer from within. You hear someone kind of approach the door, and then nothing.
I bang again.
The door opens suddenly, and then the captain, smoking again, peers out at you, and he says, "What is it? I said dinner. not lunch. He seems
I
quite
know.
angry.
I know. But traditionally, as a courtesy, when somebody beats the living shit out of the other person, they are kind enough to banshee them up. And she's gonna hold out the banshee and says, "You gave me quite a wallop. All I did was shake you off a branch. Do you mind helping me out?" And then she'll stick out her arm where she's got like a water like bruise from when he hit her, because he did hit her pretty good. And it's like she's got like this really bad like bruise and like stuff like that on the scales of her arm, and she hands it, and then she sticks out her arm like, "Help, you did this, your fault."
Roll a persuasion
But
check with disadvantage.
I'm just moving these two back on board.
Yeah, that's fine.
That is not bad.
Oh, I thought you
Fair
rolled a
enough.
4 and you got an 18, but that's your bonus. Okay. So, for a moment, he looks like he's about to say something really nasty to you. Then, like, he almost bites his tongue, looks at the bandage, and he says, "Look, Tabby, I appreciate your warrior skills. We have a doctor on the ship. Go see them." And then he slams the door.
Yeah, that's fair. She's like, "All right, I'll see you at dinner," and then leaves.
"Dinner!" And he shouts from behind the door.
As she's walking back up from the hall, she's like bandaging herself up. It becomes really apparent to her companions that this is something that she has done before, and she probably does like a better job
Mm-hmm.
than the actual
medic.
medic.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
It's like 7 points of healing.
Yeah, it was a 2d4 plus 2, so yeah, so it's 7 points. Instead of a healing potion, it's basically just a salve, so it takes out of combat application rather than in combat. But yeah, it works just as well. You feel the muscle tissue kind of ease up, almost like a menthol sensation as it's taking effect, and you feel your wounds dissipating.
Awesome.
So, yeah, that could have gone worse. Good rolls. That saved you some trouble.
Sportsmanship, man. Come on.
Yeah, so down below, the door kind of creaks open. Nyx and Naru. Naru doesn't notice. Nyx, if you want to roll for it, you can. Otherwise, you both don't see the door opening. Yep, I would say, yeah, you beat his stealth. So you hear the door slightly creak, and Nyx, you pay attention. Naru's just kind of looking out, I presume.
I'm just gonna say I'm more focused on like people coming towards me than what's happening behind me, because they're fine. I'm just worried about other people.
Okay.
I opened the door a little bit more and went, "Come up to you."
Okay.
So we can like close the door, put the padlock back on.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
I say, Volac, this is your job. I'm going back up to the crow's nest.
Okay, it was nice seeing you too.
Talk about
stops her
this later.
He stops her before she heads up. Meeting in about 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll go get Tabby.
In our room.
I need to get some replacement guards, because this is not good.
Adrik will take up position and guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also lock the lock again.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see. We'll roll 1d4. Okay, so the next shift change is due in 2 hours. So if you want to swap out with somebody, you're going to have to go get somebody to do so, or leave it unguarded.
I'll stay here. I think Adrik knows enough.
Yeah.
To do the talking.
Adrik has seen enough. He heard enough. So when that time comes, he will meet the others in the room.
Okay. So
Get Abby, see her walking out of the captain's quarters or whatever.
Yeah. He kind of just like calls her name, just kind of like gives a head nod type thing, like in the direction of the quarters, like their quarters.
okay. So yeah, so you all descend down to the middle deck and you go over to the private chambers area where you all have, again, these are pretty tight cabins. Do you want to be in the hallway or actually go into one of the cabins and just kind of squeeze and have someone on the bed?
Hop up on top of the bunk bed. Top.
Okay. Okay, and Volac,
And-
you're left standing guard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you roll a deception check for me?
Yes. Can help it's a good one. No,
Oh no!
it's not a good one.
Oh no! Do you have any inspiration?
I don't think so. I have a +7, but it's a natural one, so.
Well, it's not an attack, so you can still add the +7 for it.
Okay, so it's 8.
The opposing roll was a 3, and that means it's not one of the mates that would walk by. It's gonna be all the crew members essentially. And so for appearances, they all look at you like you don't belong at that position, but they don't necessarily say anything. So nothing
It's like
nothing critical happens. It wasn't.
God.
So we'll just not say we saw him.
Yeah, it's like if they don't want to tattle on anyone necessarily, especially with the captain having just lost in the game earlier that day, and they figure if they go tell one of the mates, then they will be swapped out to be in the guard position. Because anyone who's walking around right now is pretty much not on shift, so they're on their own time. So a little bit of laziness, a little bit of luck, and Volac, you're standing guard
Yeah,
successfully.
That's actually some real stuff right there. That's
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
So, yeah, in the cabin.
And that watch.
So
I think
Adrik
you
was-
rolling. I think you rolling solo has more to do with your short height as a guard when you're just a person guarding this door where these huge orc have been guarding.
No, they're just sure that it's unguarded, and then they look down and see him, and they're like, "Oh, never mind."
Okay. Eating time.
Adrik will fill the others in on what they saw below deck, all the zombies, the fact that there was more cells down there with sentient life, and something else that is probably really big.
Oh, wait. There was undead.
Hungry.
Did you say they were from?
Or whatever.
Did you say they were from Cholt?
Yes.
Nix. They doing experiments is from that curse thing that was happening when we were over there.
It could be related. They may be trying to use Stephen by subjects to break the curse.
And they were saying something about this being a slaver ship, and they don't want to be experimented on.
Well, you know what was happening over in Cholt, Adrik?
I'm gonna roll history to see if he's heard anything. Not much.
Yeah, so you'd know, again, basically from what we explained last time, that's about the extent of your knowledge. You don't necessarily know if there's anything additional going on there, or what she was talking about with a curse, unless she's talking about just the zombie plague that's in the jungle.
Yeah, so basically he just tells them what you explained down below that he knows of.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't know that they're having problems bringing back the undead. There's a curse on them. What was that, Nix? Do you remember, Nix?
No, I don't know if it was anybody on the island who died would automatically become a zombie. I don't remember a whole lot. I'm gonna roll because I don't.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much same knowledge as everybody else. There's lots of zombies in Cholt. That's no fact that's unknown. Everyone knows that pretty much, but you don't know anything about.
They were having a.
Undead party.
I remember there being
I'm-
something going on with healing magic and them having problems bringing back the dead. Or anybody that was brought back life that was previously dead is slowly dying. What was it? Can I roll too? If I
Yeah, go ahead.
remember. I was on the island. What was this? History? Yeah, that would
Nope.
be a 2.
Nope. The only thing you can
So-
remember is there was a book on Cholt that you accidentally burned once.
Um,
But Nyx was on the island.
So were you, Naru.
Nyx, why are you so forgetful?
It's my pretty head is filled with numbers.
No, what I think though is that if there's undead, that the living aren't really it, and I don't think that. Did you see them, Adrik? Did you see what they looked like?
Which one? The undead or?
Not the undead, but the people in the cages that you were talking to, the conscious ones.
No, there was the like door leading into the hallway with the spells. We can only hear them.
They see them.
One of them said that they were a princess of one of the tribes from there.
Well, they could be lying.
That was my thought.
Can I roll a history check based off of Tabby's connections with royal families and see if she knows about a royal family from that area?
Okay. Yeah. Roll history.
So cool. 18. Woo!
Okay.
Rolling good
So-
tonight.
Yeah, so especially whether this is when you found out just information on the vacation in Port Zavira, or maybe this extends a little bit further back in your history, you would know that in Port Nyanzaru, that's the city which is located on Cholt, it's made up of, I think, 7 merchant guilds, none of which claim royalty titles, but the merchants themselves have pretty wealthy establishments, and they're basically kind of like kings, but they don't consider themselves royalty. They're all like, quote, equal, unquote, the merchant princes. The tribal region, which is kind of more in the more untamed portions of the jungle, there are plenty of races like kobolds, goblins, lizard folk. You know that there's a race called Yuan Ti, and there is potentially, maybe she would be part of that. You're not sure exactly any specific royalty lines, but it could be one of those. You don't think it would be related
Gotcha.
to the princes, though.
To her voice.
Okay.
What was that?
She had a bit of a hiss to her voice, didn't she?
Yep, Adrik would make that connection. Yep.
I think she might be a Yanti.
Maybe. It's not for many of the normal settlements that are there. They don't consider themselves royalty, though you wouldn't think that if you met them.
We've met a couple,
Uh,
haven't we, Nyx?
Whoa, yeah.
then you know. So, if anything, they're just, if it's true, they're tribe folks who were taken.
Yanti have undead. Are there undead Yanti? Maybe they could have been zombies too. Because I feel like them being experimented on would mean if there were already a bunch of other human zombies, it's most likely they're zombies, and I don't really want to get involved with zombies. I mean,
Why did you guys
there's
go
a
in
bonfire
there anyway?
involved, but I don't think that's safe to do on a boat.
Whether or not they are royalty, we shouldn't leave them to a horrible fate as that.
Sorry, I missed that. You sounded like you were in a can, and I couldn't hear you.
Nyx thinks that even if they're royalty or not, that we should still we shouldn't let them go carted off to be slaves and experience that.
Okay. I think whatever plan we should do it after we're off of the boat, because I don't want to burn this thing down.
Yeah, we definitely have a couple more weeks to go. Play cool and hatch a plan for when we land at the port.
Did Adrik tell us about them and their threat? They were leaving.
Yes.
Okay. Honestly, they don't seem too nice. I don't like mean people. But Nix, if you're gonna help them, then I'll give you a hand.
Tabby's gonna kind
Need
of
more
sigh and
information.
say,
What was that?
What's Tabby
Yeah.
saying?
Who's talking?
Tabby has something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
So Tabby's gonna let out a sigh and say, I understand the need to want to help people, but at some point, you have to accept the fact that not everyone is considered a good guy. They may be being taken to have something bad done to them, but some people just aren't necessarily good people. I'll help you guys with whatever you want to do, but understand that sometimes people aren't actually good.
Dude, Naru, this was just so profound. I'm just left in awe.
Like I said, the ones down there I don't fully trust just yet.
We need more information.
That's my thought.
If
That's
we
the
can
only
get
reason.
something from one of the lieutenants, maybe. Or the captain.
Didn't you try to bring it up to them and they got really, tight?
Yeah, I'm not bringing it up to anyone on the crew just yet either.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Need a nap.
So, as you guys are discussing these things, we'll say the shift changes, and so Volac, two burly guards come up to you and kind of look around and realize you're the person there, and be like, "That's strange. Anyways, go take a break. We got this." And they relieve you of your post. I didn't hear any of that.
Sorry. So I give the two guys a wink, and I go back to the bedroom or the berthing that we're in, and I'm like, "Oh, you guys are still talking?"
As Volac enters, after he closes the door, Adrik will ask, "Do you hear anything else happening from below?"
You could hear, you could hear for a while that there's like the groaning from the zombies and stuff, which is almost audible through the door. But after the first 5-10 minutes, they kind of started to be silent again, and then things went back to normal, and nothing else happened.
Okay.
Volac,
Just some fun stuff down there.
Volac, man, what's with you hearing voices?
Well, that's kind of like it's like number one on the 10 Commandments of Cthulhu is you will shout your voices. But the walls are pretty thin here. Everybody was up topside, so I heard the whispering and I wanted to go check it out.
What did you think they were? Did you think they were zombies or something else?
I don't think that they were zombies yet. Or even any kind of undead, but they might be turning because one of the creatures that was in the same holding cell as them was large and making grunt noises, kind of like a zombie. So, I don't think we should necessarily trust them, but I also don't think we should condemn them to being evil or not good just because they're in a situation like that. If I was in their position, I would probably be pretty upset too, and probably just desperate to get out. And I also don't trust being in this ship with a whole bunch of zombies caged.
I agree with you on that.
So regardless, it's pretty hairy situation. I don't think we can go and grab them now and escape because we're in the middle of the sea. So we have to like wait until we get to port.
If I were gonna die, I'd like to go out with a bang.
Adrik kind of holds up some radiant energy in his hand. You guys seen what I can do. This should at least help a bit with the issue we've located to an extent.
The zombies being in there, we've got what? How many more days left on this voyage?
29.
We have 29 days for stuff to, go wrong, and zombies escaping on a ship. We have no way to get out. We either go hang out with the Kraken, or we hang out with the zombies on board.
We can burn them to death when they try to kill us.
Yeah, and then set our whole ship on fire.
Put it out. Put it out. It isn't quite paper. It will burn up that quick.
But yeah, this is a pretty bad situation we're in.
So, are we going to wait until we get to land, which is my preference, or?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Either that, or when we're close to a land mark of some kind.
Stage a coup, take over the ship, mutiny.
I don't even think it seems like the crew morale is pretty high, but I don't know if all the crew members know that what we're carrying.
Yeah, most likely just the captain and maybe maybe.
Lex, you really sound like you're in a can or like in a windows open or something. I couldn't get into that.
I don't think so. I think it's just that the mic on that laptop is not working very well.
Okay.
Tries talking now. There you go.
Okay, I think it's just my fan was on high.
Oh, gotcha.
I think you're right. Most likely just the captain and the top lieutenants know about it, if even that. If it's just the captain, I don't know. Well, I mean, they had to have hauled all these zombies on board, so the people who brought them aboard would know about it.
So
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think
are a lot of cages.
we should continue to do our jobs until we get to land. Once that happens, then Adrik and Volac can follow the shipping area, and from there we can do something about it. I don't think we should do anything about it while we're on this ship.
Yep, I think we should just be defensive and
Keep our guards up.
Keep our guard up. Try to learn as much as possible without raising suspicion. We don't know who's our ally and who's an enemy in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many factors here. Can't just rely on one.
Yep. So I think waiting is the game here.
Volac, don't be doing no more stupid stuff like me. I'm not a good example.
Alrighty. So are you
Tabby
pretty
just
much...
kind of nods. She's like, Naru's right. She's a bad example.
So you pretty much are gonna wait it out, not take any action at this point. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's the general consensus.
Okay. So unless you want to do anything between now and then, the day kind of slowly passes. There is a knock on the cabin door, probably about an hour later.
Then I'm already up in the crow's nest again.
Yep, that's fine.
Tabby would probably just be floating around on deck.
Okay. So rather than it being at the cabin door, then it would be just there on the deck. But the second mate, Ciara, she would come up to you and basically give you orders that you're supposed to take watch this evening. So that would be for Tabby what her job is. Naru, you would be communicated with by her. She'll probably summon you down and basically assign you to the crow's nest, since that's where you're up there. So you're going to help Spike do his job. To which he is very disgruntled and says he doesn't need help, but as soon as you've informed him that you have orders to it, he shuts up about that. Nyx, Ciara gives you a special assignment, saying that you're for crew morale and you're supposed to play music 6 hours a day, your own whatever shift that you want. And it seems like you definitely have kind of
Preferential treatment.
exactly slightly, because there's really no other description on where or what you're supposed to do. It's just at least 6 hours a day, play music and keep the morale high for the troops, type thing. Adrik, she assigns you to swabbing the deck.
I should have known the first time. He basically goes through with it.
And then Volac, she would look at you and what's Volac's dexterity?
Not high. It is 11.
Okay, what's your charisma?
Charisma is 20.
Okay, so she looks up at the rigging for a while, looking at the sails being expertly and very deftly turned, and the ropes being tied by all the sailors up there, and she thinks twice about assigning you there, and then she instead says, go help with the kitchens. We can always use an extra person serving the food. Go talk to Boros, and you can do that for your work for the day. 3 shifts, 2 hours each.
Hey, thanks, boss.
Okay, so you all have assignments on the ship as part of the crew. Evening is dawning upon, or coming up, and you all have a dinner appointment with the captain, I believe.
So while Adrik swabs the deck, he's going to keep his eyes and ears out for anyone having a conversation that might pertain to their discovery.
Okay, yeah, roll
Which
an
I thought they
investigation.
Like in case somebody decided to get drunk. Investigation or perception?
This would be an investigation, because you're taking pretty much the rest of the day to listen in and try to figure out what you can find out.
No, that's a 2.
You would find that the general mood on board the ship is fairly sullen. Like, again, it's pretty much probably tied up to that earlier thing where the captain got knocked down, and you can tell that everyone's in fear of the captain being very volatile right now. So people aren't talking much. They're doing their job as best as they can, and there's just kind of this sullen vibe about the ship.
I would like to also investigate while I am serving people.
Okay, yeah, roll investigation as well.
What the heck?
So you are totally amped up to figure it out. You've got this whole plan that you are gonna talk and figure out everything you can while you're doing the dinner shift, and then Boros leans over to you and he says, "Hey, get out of here! Go! You're supposed to go meet with the captain. I got your shift tonight. Don't worry about it."
Oh, thanks, Boros.
I was sure he was gonna get set on dish duty in time.
I can't even reach the sink.
So,
Good point.
yeah. Naru, go ahead and you roll a perception check up in the crow's nest.
I really want to see a dolphin.
Wow.
I
You
see
might
a
see a
dolphin.
dolphin.
Yeah, you see lots of wildlife. You see manta rays, dolphins. Spike pulls your attention from looking down to looking out, and you can see there are some storm clouds on the horizon.
That's not good.
And then dinner's upon you, so you would have to descend from the crow's nest. Tabby,
Mike, who should I report the weather to?
it would be the first mate, who I don't even know if I have a mini out for him. I don't know if I ever
Okay,
even got a mini.
I would report that to the first mate before heading in.
Okay. And then Tabby, your duty. Remind me, I actually forgot what I assigned you to.
It was guard duty at night.
Oh, the
so
night shifts.
she
Yeah,
wouldn't
so
pick
you
up
aren't
the
even
shift
on duty.
until
Is
after
there?
dinner.
Yeah, is there anything that you're doing between now and then?
Probably just resting.
Okay. So yeah, you basically get back to full health or anything. You take a short rest in between. For Nyx, you have basically a very flexible schedule. What would you like to do?
I guess I'll be singing and beatboxing time.
Okay, roll a performance check.
Cool.
What'd you roll?
I rolled an 8.
Okay, so yeah, you're doing your shift, but the crew doesn't seem to be totally digging it too much. Like they're fine with it, but they're not getting like the attitude around the ship is kind of staying the same.
Should have sung the sailor song.
Yeah.
So, can I ask a thing real quick?
Yep.
After Adrik failed to like hear anything since that mood's just been solid, can he try to sing while swabbing?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you hear
Try
kind
to,
of the music that Nyx is playing kind of off in the background, and yeah, you strike up kind of an off-key tune with it. So,
try to make it go faster. Yeah.
yes, so it's about coming up on 6 p.m. The sun is hanging a little bit lower in the sky. It's dinner time, and you'll have an appointment to meet up with the captain.
After this, we should sing the sailor song together.
Come, let's sing the sailor song.
Yeah,
All
from
come
okay.
together. We know what to do. All come together. Okay.
They're just like,
Tabby's gonna go
as we're
collect
heading to the
everybody.
captain's quarters, we're just singing stupidly. Just for shits and giggles, since their shift is done and they're just shitly singing. Yeah, so just like a little bit more enthusiasm in it.
Sailing, sailing, jumping off the. No, we're not doing that.
So I accidentally exited out of Roll20, so I'm just
The
fixing it.
captain has already gone over the railing.
What?
Hey!
Moving Jack.
As in, like,
Sorry.
half the other
Moving Nyx off the railing.
You might
Tabby's
have to
gonna
have
Tabby's gonna put a giant hand on Nyx's head and say, "Don't give them any ideas, okay? Like, let's not."
We'll switch to different genre. So are we
What is
all
the
going to the captain's?
Yes, you are. You are all invited to dine with the captain.
sending Gamina off the railing. Gamina off the railing. Adrik
Nyx.
chimes in.
Nyx
'Cause-
is appealing.
Nyx, you have that grappling hook, right? I'm just. It was a bad joke. You're supposed to fall overboard, and that would help. I don't know.
Oh.
Okay. So the doors to the captain's berth opens, and you see him dressed in actually quite fine garments, very nautical and naval. He's got a tricorn hat on again. He's not smoking this time, but he opens the door and beckons you all in. He said, "Please enter, my guests." And he seems to be in a much better mood.
I offer him my hand as soon as I get in.
Yep, he shakes it, and then he claps you on the left shoulder with his other hand and says, "Here, have a seat."
Thank you. And then she just kind of winces because that was the shoulder that he had damaged earlier.
Yeah, you're not sure if that was on purpose or not, but yeah.
I could totally see it being either way.
So she'll take whatever seat would if they're not all sitting like directly across from him, she would take whatever seat would be next to the captain.
Yep, it's basically a small rectangular table, 6 chairs. He takes the head one, which is with his back to the window, so you can see the ocean kind of trailing out behind you. and Tabby on his right, and you can arrange yourselves however you prefer. I guess I can actually draw a little
Do I
box
shake his hand too as I come in?
if you want to.
That was a wonderful fight, Captain. I haven't seen anybody give Tabby such a hard time in a very long time.
He doesn't really respond. So once you're all seated, the turtle sidles in carrying 2 big trays of food, sets it down in front of you all, and then leaves. The captain lights up a cigar, puts his hat on the side of the desk there, just behind him, and begins to take a long puff before he starts to grab some of his food. There are the food here in the captain's quarters is much nicer than everything that was served in the buffet lines or even Nick's. Even the second mage had pretty nice food compared to the rest. Like theirs was mostly slop, but she had kind of a nice soup. Captain Scrag has like meats and cheeses and all kinds of like high-end just food that's kind of gourmet just laid out on the table, and he reaches over to grab some red grapes and just begins to toss them in his mouth, crunching them. He doesn't really lead the conversation at all. You kind of get the vibe that it's more of like he said he would have you out for dinner, and so now he's following through, but he wished that he had canceled it.
Captain and see what his intentions are, what he's thinking about.
Ooh, so tell me, what does detect thoughts do? Do you have that?
So I can read the thoughts of certain creatures. I can see if it's emotional state, something that looms large in its mind. If I succeed, let's see, what does it have to roll first thing? If I think unless I'm like probing a certain topic.
Yeah, so it looks like he doesn't need to make a throw unless you try to dig deeper. So
Yeah, I feel like say try to like see if I can probe about the zombies, then he would have to do wisdom saving throw.
yeah. So tell me, what does Nyx do when casting this spell? Is there any gestures, or do you have to say anything, or do you just cast the spell kind of subtly without anyone noticing, or what happens?
I think Nyx whistles a little tune, and then the spell starts.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, and that's kind of within character too. So he's not gonna roll a perception to see what you're doing or anything. You just kind of, you're a bard. You start to whistle a little tune here, and then you begin to hear these echoes, so almost like the captain's voice, but it's kind of echoing through your mind, and you kind of hear him just kind of grumbling to himself almost. He's like, "This is 1,000 gold piece dinner. This is so bullshit."
It's like if I do try to probe deeper, he might know that I'm doing that. So
Yeah, so, and I think the duration for this is up to a minute. So yeah, as you all beginning to serve, it sounds like pretty much everyone's just kind of quietly starting to eat. He looks out the window, and you kind of hear his grisly voice in your mind, and he's like, "This is going to be a long trip with these people. We'll have to keep them quite busy." He looks over, and out loud he says to Adrik, "Well, you fought well. What's your background, Adrik?"
Was kind of on the streets for a while. Raised by a dwarf.
Sounds like you'd make a good pirate.
He is totally disclosing the fact that he knows more how to fight more than what he does. Like, he has kept all his cards hidden in the combat on board the boards.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically just that little trick of catching and throwing back was the only card he's played so far.
Yep. So he seems like he's pretty impressed by what he saw. Nyx, you can hear kind of in his mind, he's basically trying to make small talk to make the dinner kind of pass. And nothing really like critical is learned from just immediately with immediate thoughts that he has, except that he is basically the vibe you're getting is he's not thrilled to have you guys all on the ship at this point.
Adrik is going to pipe up a little bit. If you'd like, I can tell you one of our past adventures that we went on to a wizard's tower.
Tabby's eyes just shift straight to Adrik. Like, what are you doing?
And then Nyx would pick up that his focus sharpens directly on what Adrik said, and even though his outer body and stuff, that looks like he's almost like just kind of absent-minded. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, just tell us a story. But in his mind, he's like very focused on what he's about to hear.
So, like, kind of he regales the tale of how they went to the tower, and they came across this throne at the base of the stairs, where a couple of them got shocked from a prank cushion before we burned it.
He laughs at that, and he looks over at Naru, who he had noticed your hair earlier. This is up by this one, I presume.
I kind of just scratched the back of my head, kind of grinning.
Goes on to tell of the trick carpet where Tabby shoved one of the others into it in experimentation.
Yeah, Nyx, you can tell he's enjoying the story as Adric's telling him, but then you also can sense with his thoughts that this isn't really what he was hoping to hear when he had heard him talking about a wizard's tower. He seemed way more curious about that keyword than hearing about like the traps and what they fought and what they were able to overcome inside the tower. Out loud he makes comments like how great adventurers you are and you really should have been pirates and joined his crew long ago, stuff like that.
And then he'll also mention the crazy wizard and the polar corpse.
He folds his arms, having pretty much stopped eating.
Cat. The polar is the cat.
Well, you don't hear a story like that every day, I must say. It sounds like you've had just about as many adventures as I have.
We would love to hear some of your adventures.
Maybe one day. I feel like I should retire. I've been in this business for so long. I've earned enough gold, I should just find a successor, give the Hammerhead away to someone else. Then you, what if you guys took the ship? That would be quite the story.
And he looks at Tabby pointedly.
You might have the guts to captain it, I presume.
Can I get back to you on that? Because that does actually sound like a good offer.
I don't think you can afford it. But maybe one day. Come back with gold and jewels, and maybe I'll part with the old girl.
I might take you up on that. We'll have to keep in touch.
Well, if it's nothing else, you're 1,000 gold towards your goal now.
And then he reaches out and grabs you by the shoulder again and gives you a little squeeze, and it seems like with that, kind of his animosity towards you finally seems to kind of dissipate, like he's finally come to terms with that you beat him and that he lost so much gold. And he does seem to lighten up, and Nyx, you can sense this, that his disease with you guys, or his unease, is kind of maybe going away a little bit, and he's returning back to being a little more comfortable.
Oh. question that doesn't have to do with this dinner. What had to do with the loot from the betting, and that we all got 400.
Oh yeah.
Can I take? Can I get that 200 gold piece ruby, and put
Yeah.
my gold on because I want
Yeah.
that. It was red.
So we
Yeah.
got 1,000 from the captain, and how much from the initial betting?
We had to place in 1,000, which
Alright,
made up for all the initial bettings that we had done.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 2,000 split between 4 people.
So that's 400.
Yes, 400 apiece. Tabby's gonna turn to the captain, and she's gonna be like, "Look, I didn't get a chance to ask you this last night, but because you're so close to retirement, it's a story I gotta hear. What is the craziest shit you've ever had to do out at sea? Anything? Did you attacking another ship that was around? Did you have to fight? Did you ever have to run in with the Kraken at all? Like, what's the craziest shit you've ever had to deal with?"
Has there been an underwater battle?
A smile like crosses over his head, and pretty much being done with dinner, he's just reclining back, and his chair is like a full-on recliner, and so he's able to prop his feet up and kind of scoot back.
He's like a dad.
And
he's like a dad after dinner.
He puts his big boots on the table, like kind of pushing away his plate off to the side a little bit with his shoe, and then he begins to tell a story of how they were on a hunt, is what he calls it, and they were basically this was back when he was a pirate, and he stole the cargo from one of the Royal Navy ships near the Port Saphira, and their entire navy was sent after him, so there's like 6 ships chasing him, and then the Kraken started to chase them as well, and he had to sail up the Endless Falls, which is basically sailing up a waterfall to escape and to get out of their region and escape. And that was his biggest claim to fame, was going through and up the Endless Falls without going into the void.
Tabby's gonna raise her goblet to him and be like, "That's one hell of an accomplishment. Holy shit."
Well, I had a better crew back then.
Then he clinks and toasts.
I'll have to make a song for you, Captain Strax. One that regales your most amazing adventure. I must come up with a title. A sharkborn who beats the water.
The captain who outran the Kraken.
Much of it.
Outrunning the Kraken. You cannot forget that in that tale. And then
Did not outran the Kraken.
And then she's gonna turn to him again and be like, "Okay, as somebody who's worked in the military and dealt with some really stupid people, what's the dumbest thing one of your crew members has ever done?"
Shot himself.
He says that very, very easily. No doubt about it. Like, that's for sure the stupidest thing that he's seen.
I had a pair of...
Tabby absolutely loses her mind. And then she finally calms down to hear like the actual story.
So he looks over at Volac, and he raises a glass to you and he says,
No offense, but they were gnomes.
I mean, that's I'm used to it. It's okay.
So we had this pair of twin gnomes, and you've experienced it today. We like to have fun on the second days of our voyage. It's kind of like once we're out to sea, we can kind of do what we want, and so we always have gambling. We always have those tournaments. We have stuff like that. Well, these gnomes, they decided to play a game of roulette with thunder pistols, and and needless to say, that we had to give him a burial at sea.
Oh.
Like I said, I used to have a much brighter crew.
What happened to your crew, Captain?
Well,
he cracks his back and kind of looks up as if he's not sure exactly like how much to say.
Once I shifted to becoming a privateer, and I was able to relink with the ports, I had to lose my crew as well. They would not follow me after that. But a life of crime cannot be forever. One must eventually return to the law. If I am to retire, I do not want to be hunted by every bounty hunter and adventurer. It's not worth it. For me, a life of peace means I must be in the green.
Captain, I don't see you much retiring, and by that I mean, sir, that you seem at home on the sea. I think if you were to retire, a boat would be your home.
Probably. One day I would like to have a villa on the floating city, but again,
Ooh.
we will see.
How long have you been doing How long have you been doing the cargo stuff, working with the port?
How has it been? A couple dozen years? Maybe 25?
You kind of think so, and he's like,
Yeah, that's about 2 decades, 20 years or so. Not quite 25 yet.
You do not look that old, sir.
I'm a shark born.
That's one thing that always bugged me with the human species is we always look so old before we're actually old. What's with that?
Well, no offense, you look quite young.
Oh, not me, but my grandma.
I'm nearly a quarter of a century. Not a century, what's it? 250 years? I don't know what that is. But I'm about
My eyes
250.
just widen.
Tabby kind of leads a little bit closer to the captain and be like, "Don't let her fool you. She's actually 5 years old, or at least that's what she acts like."
Well, I'd believe it. Well, anyways.
and he stands up and he looks out the back window, and you can see now that it's dusk and night's coming on, you can see that there's the storm clouds in the sky, and it's definitely looking to be a little bit more thunder coming in. He looks back over at you guys and he says,
Well, it's been a pleasure to speak with you, to fight with you.
and he looks at Tabby.
She offers him a nod.
We shall have to do this again before the voyage is over. In the meantime, I do need to make it clear. You are now part of my crew. You've already had my second inmate. She gave you orders, I believe, and I will need you to do them. And I need you to obey my orders, or theirs. This is a tight ship now, and so you are all crew members on my ship, and I expect your best behavior.
Understood.
Yes, sir.
Very well then, off with you.
And he kind of motions for you all to exit.
Tabby downs the rest of her drink, and she's the first one to leave. 0 arguments.
I follow Tabby out. I want to go find the person who gave me orders and see what times I'm supposed to be in the crow's nest, or if I'm just supposed to be stationed up there a lot.
Yep, your shift is 6 hours, and then it basically was informed that you just have to work out what time you're going to be doing that with Spike. The orc captain or the orc lady, Ciara, she doesn't specify a shift for you, but as it is, they only have the one lookout, and since he doesn't ever have to sleep, he's basically perma-stationed there.
Okay.
But yeah, basically you choose 6 hours.
I climb up before I say, Mike, how's it looking?
There seems to be a storm approaching rapidly. Most likely, the crew will be seasick tonight.
Oh, lovely. How many hours till it hits?
Approximately 7.5 hours. It will be well into the night, about 3 a.m. when the storm hits.
How long will it last for?
He looks out and he's kind of his robotic eyeball kind of squints, and you see this kind of lens kind of close halfway over it. And he says,
It will most likely last for about 12 hours. It will probably be afternoon when it burns off.
Okay, what are the hours with the most activity?
The most
Please rephrase. When would be the best time to have 2 people on shift for a lookout?
Oh, never. I do not require any assistance.
When is there the most activity at sea?
Oh, at sea. The sea is always moving, so 24 hours a day is sufficient for me.
You limit that down to 6?
No. If you are asking for the shift that you want to be assigned to, I do not have any shifts available, unfortunately.
I will see you at noon tomorrow, Spike. Have a good night. And I go down.
I will have the best night that I can during this atrocious thunderstorm. Thank you. And the... So as you descend down the rigging, what is everyone going to do? You have a couple hours if you want to do anything else. Tabby, your shift is pretty much about to start on deck. Does anyone want to do anything?
I want to tell Tabby that we're looking at a storm around 3 a.m. A bucket, because evidently people are going to be throwing up. I'll probably be one of them.
Can you bring me a bucket too? I honestly don't know how I'll handle it.
Okay, I start getting buckets ready for the people in our rooms. Just in case, Nobody
Tabby
would.
goes and sits in front of the door with her back resting against the door, and she's got the bucket sitting next to her.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay, perfect. So unless anyone's doing any sort of sneaking around or doing anything, we'll just kind of wrap up this evening, and you can all disperse back to your bunks or wherever you would like to stay. In the middle of the night, you can feel the waves rising. You can feel the ship kind of lurching back and forth. It's unsettling, but then once the storm actually full on hits, you can hear the wind just breaking over everything, the waves crashing up over the decks. You can hear the rain sloshing around against the portholes if you're at the cabin, and if you're trying to move about, everything's swaying from side to side. And even with being accustomed to with sea legs, it's completely out of control. Everybody, please make a Constitution saving throw.
Everybody make a vomit throw.
Ah.
Oh God, I have a +7 and I rolled a 3.
15.
Okay, so pretty much everybody but Tabby is able to do okay. Naru, Volac, and Nyx, you're pretty much unaffected. But Adrik, you probably don't want to be walking around a whole bunch with the way it's swaying. And Tabby, unfortunately, you do end up puking in the bucket.
There was a reason I had the bucket.
What was it? I didn't hear
I was
that.
saying Adrik would probably be laying down.
Yeah, in that case, you're pretty much unaffected, but you feel queasy and stuff. Don't really feel like having breakfast the next morning. The storm continues into the night and into the morning. Let's see, Volac, you have a shift in the morning with breakfast. It looks like you're able to go to it without any issues. Let's see, actually. The turtle, Boros, does not show up to work. You have a line of sailors all coming up to have breakfast, and it's up to you to have something prepared. You can roll a check for that. Let's see, what would you want to roll?
Performance.
I think that's appropriate. Performance. Roll a performance check to see how good your breakfast is.
21.
Ooh, what do you cook?
I cook. Oh, probably waffles. No, actually, pancakes. I'll do pancakes for everybody.
Yes, you make some bomb pancakes. The crew is, if they were kind of sullen and morale was down from the kind of, morale was not down, but they were all like really quiet and kind of sullen yesterday. Today their morale is down, but then they have the pancakes and their morale kicks up and they're going to have a good day anyways. And you feel the mood shift as they taste your delectable pancakes.
When Tabby gets released, she goes straight to the dining hall, and she's like, I need about 7 plates of everything because I threw up all we ate for dinner last night.
You're having pancakes.
Pancake, perfect. And she, no fork, nothing, just starts just inhaling with her hands into her mouth because she's so hungry now.
Perfect. Alrighty.
Breakfast was delicious. You did a wonderful job, Volac.
Thank you. Nyx actually taught me this recipe.
I was thinking Nick should hire you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It'll be a mean duo. Master chefs.
Okay.
So, quick question. We've been doing this. So, are we gonna break soon to continue this on another day, or what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm actually just pulling up to see the last chapter that's coming up. I think this is probably a good stopping point, but I wanted to just kind of close out with one thing happening, but I can't find the right mini for it. So let me just change pages for a second.
Spoiler alert.
There we go. I found it.
Our Rose rides the
We're
waves.
all outside.
Okay.
We all fell off the ship.
Oh no.
For Nyx.
Okay. Is there anything anyone wants to do in the morning?
I'm gonna check the rain and the weather.
Okay.
How it's.
So you're going up to the thing. Okay, well that's excellent. Then please roll a perception check.
Excuse me.
10. I don't have any bonus.
10. Okay. So
You have inspiration.
Oh, can I use my
okay.
I kind of would want to be. Can I use my inspiration now?
Okay. Well, if you would like, you can for sure see that there seems to be a slight issue with Spike. He keeps repeatedly like closing his lens, opening and closing it for his eyeball and trying to rub it, and you can see that there's a layer of kind of not frost but like condensation forming on the inside of his eyeball, and he's having trouble seeing, and he rolled a 3 perception, just so you know.
Okay, well I'm gonna climb up into the crow's nest.
Okay.
And
So you're keeping your roll with the 10 or no?
I'm climbing up into the crow's nest and say, Spike, is your lens fogging up?
I am aware. Unfortunately, I cannot take out my eyeball. Can you do that, human?
Can I look and see if I can or not, or?
It doesn't look like you can really do it without taking him apart, which he definitely would not let you do.
Yeah, I think I'd want to do that.
Okay. It is okay. I will suffer through the pain.
Ah.
Can I look out in the water and see if anything strange is happening out in the water again, or do I need to my inspiration to reroll?
Yeah, with your 10, you basically see the waves are super choppy. White caps are splashing up over the deck, and you see the sailors around you kind of trying to keep the sails tied down. Everything's more or less going fine. The ship is perfectly able to go through the storm. However, you don't see it until it's basically about too late. But from above, you see these falling darts of fire coming down through the clouds from above. These like little pinpricks of basically almost like a crossbolt that's on fire, just arcing down at you. And there seems to be a hailstorm of flaming spears descending down through the clouds into the ship.
I kind of scream as soon as I see it. Fire from above! And I start trying to do my my put out flame thing that I can do.
Okay, you can try to do so as soon as these start to hit. However, roll a dexterity saving throw, and I'll roll one for Spike as well.
I'm going to roll perception to see if I hear the scream.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
below deck.
you're swabbing the deck is your job. So basically, at this point, you don't really have anything to do, but you can definitely be on deck if you want. You would
Yeah,
hear
I'll be
this.
on deck.
Dexterity.
Yeah, so you would see, you would hear the scream, but as soon as you look up, you actually basically just see it before it's too late, as this hail of needles of fire all are coming down at you. And Adrik, you can roll a dexterity saving throw as well, since you're on the deck.
Dexterity save 16.
Okay, so Adrik, you're able to dive for cover. Naru, you don't quite get out of the way, and Spike for sure is hit by one of these needles, and he goes sailing off the top of the rigging, clattering down onto the deck. So he doesn't go into the water, but he's definitely nailed by one of these ginormous ballista-looking bolts, but they're all totally ignited with flame. Naru, you will also take damage from that as well.
I have 1/4 damage for flame, by the way.
Okay. Well, you take 16 piercing damage. The flame is not going to affect you.
Okay.
But
That's a lot of damage.
you get hit by one of these ginormous ballista bolts, and you can, if you want to stay in the rigging, you can. Otherwise, you'd fall down to the deck below. I'm just going to leave that up to you.
I'm gonna hold on for now, but I kind of want to get. There's not really any cover up here though, right?
You are, if you're in the crow's nest, then there's a little bit of cover, but against these huge military bolts, no, it's not going to do anything to stop if one of these hits you again.
Okay, can I see where it's coming from?
Okay, you may roll a perception check again.
Oh man.
Okay, so you can see the basically the flag. It had been hit by the one that nailed Spike, and it's on fire and kind of blocking your view. You can also see that all of the bolts of flame is catching the rest of the sails on fire. Some of the sailors have fallen out.
I start trying to put out flame as fast as I can.
Okay, Nyx, where are you doing this? You have a flexible shift as well, but I presume, are you below deck?
Well, there are like waves everywhere, right?
Yeah, not on the ship. I mean, there's water coming over the side, but it's not like washing people overboard. It's not, the storm is not that big. It's mostly, it's unsettling, but it's not like throwing the ship underwater.
I think I'm up near the helm.
Okay, so if you're up by the helm, you can roll a perception check as well. And then Tabby and Volac, where are you both?
I'm probably cleaning up still.
Okay, so you're below deck.
In the kitchen, yeah.
If Tabby had finished eating, she probably would have made her way up the. Actually, no, she probably would have went to the quarters because she was up all night doing the watch. So she'd probably try to go to the quarters and get some sleep.
Okay, so none of you really see what's happening, but there's this firestorm kind of descending down. The crew is starting to shout, and alarms are starting to go off. Ciara, the first mate, and the captain are all kind of emerging onto the deck, shouting around, trying to see what's going on. There's, as far as
I try to see where things were coming from.
Yeah, roll a perception. You guys are really not rolling that well. So,
If like as many as he can.
Can if I were to see the captain and the second mate heading towards the top, I would have turned around and followed them out. May I roll a perception?
Yep, go for it. Basically, all that's happening is more time is passing.
There we go.
Tabby! I believe in you, Tabby.
So, with Naru being focused on damage control, and she's not really trying to percept anything or she's not able to really see what's going on. With Spike being down, he's currently out of commission, laying kind of basically dead on the deck. He's been reduced to 0 hit points.
No.
Everybody is scrambling
Hi.
around. People are not really sure what to do. Captain is starting to shout something. And Tabby, when you come out and you look up, you see descending down on top of the ship, basically right above at this point because it took so long to see it. Tendrils just kind of recoiling down, trying to grab sailors out of the rigging, kind of trying to wrap around the ship's mast. All these purple, Cthulhu-esque almost coiled tentacles coming out, and their source is the most outlandish ship that you have ever laid eyes on. It's a floating vessel with sails that look totally out of this world. It's a sky ship of some sort, but its tentacles are definitely attacking, and its ballistas are launching flaming bolts down repeatedly at the ship. And that is.
Tabby is going to shout, Volac, I think your friend is here.
And with that,
Yeah,
and that is going to be where we're going to pause for the evening.
Okay.
so that's
Oh, talk about a cliffhanger. Oh my gosh, Adrian.
So it's over here, trying to eat the ship.
So I got a question. Does Volac sense this entity?
You would not know.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you guys want, do you want to proceed a little bit more? Or do you want to pause? Because I'm totally down with postponing because we're going to need to do this in one more session.
I would like to do it another session.
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay, so
I
we'll.
can do another session.
Alrighty. So we will pause the game here and we'll pick it up maybe hopefully next week. I think we need to check the calendar because I don't know if Becca and I are free on Sunday or not. But we'll plan the next one and continue on wrap this story up. So thank you all for playing.
Yeah, it was fun. Would this be a level then?
We are not going to gain a level. So I did think about it for this adventure. I'm gonna award you one level for completing it, and so since I've already given that level to you, it's pretty much we're gonna finish out at the same level that you guys are at. You'll still get the loot and the pay for being on the crew and whatnot, but you will be at your same levels.
Well, on my next level, I do get evasion and stillness of mind, which would be very useful skills.
Yeah, especially when you're getting shot at by ballistas.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cast Firestorm on their butt and.
Oh.
That would be very interesting. Well, we'll find out what happens next time. So, thank you all for playing.